Hi, everyone. Welcome to this discussion stream here. I don't even know what you want to call you, but I've got an incel here, and I don't have my crown with me. But as the king of the incels, I must hear this. This is a royal audience with the king of the incels here. So we're gonna be talking about some shit, I guess.
So, thank you for having me, King of the Incels. My name is Commissarge, and I'm a member of the terrorist organization known as Incels IS. So, I heard you recently talking about some black pill stuff, and I just kind of wanted to reach out to you and just kind of tell you what the black pill is about, and I don't know, just have a discussion about inceldom, especially after Aspie's last video.
Yeah, yeah, sure. No, I'm happy to hear people out on shit. So basically, I'm assuming you came in here and you started talking to me because of the video I made. A couple weeks, I think it was just a couple days ago. I made a video in response to one of the comments on his channel about how fuck. Sorry, I gotta take care of my Digimon here. One second.
What?
I gotta take care of my Digimon, bro. I'm raising a couple Digimon here, so I gotta take care of them quick. 1 second. Okay, they're
The
good.
world doesn't stop spinning.
Oh my god, I just got a Digi Evolution. Sweet. Okay, so no, I was watching um I was watching this show, this comment, and someone in the comments of that video said, I need to use Tinder, otherwise I don't know how women will rate me. You know?
Okay.
And my comment and my response to that is that you don't need women to rate you. You don't need to know what women rate you as. It's a relevant fact. It's also not natural to rate people numerically on like an attractiveness scale. I mean, you can find people attractive, unattractive. That's normal and natural. But to like commodify and like hegemonically classify people based on it, that's not a natural evolutionary thing. It's an unnatural Bugman psyop designed to keep you down and keep you complacent and dumb, and be accepting of your place in society. You little incel nerd. Be accepting of where we put you. Be lucky you're not a 0 and you're just a 3 or a 2. You know, because it could be a lot worse. And that shit, that's my mentality. Doesn't actually, you don't need to think like that. That's my point on this, is that I don't think that it's healthy for you to think like that. And I also don't think it's particularly productive or good for you.
Okay, so I hear you, and that's an interesting theory that you have, and really funny actually.
Well,
Um,
you have to
but
look at the social credit system in China. Not to cut you off, I'll let you finish. But my main point was that it's similar to the social credit system in China, and I genuinely believe this is a Chinese psyop to get us more accustomed and ready for their inevitable takeover of our country and the world, really.
so I will agree with you that it is a completely unnatural system. In our natural biological environment, we wouldn't have anything like that. But at the same time, we live in a very unnatural environment.
Yeah,
Like the modern world is a completely unnatural environment.
sure.
And sadly, subjective evaluations are simply a reality of the modern dating world.
That's
This is really important. For anyone that is obviously a sub 8 man, if you are not in the top 20 Pareto principle percent of people who are attractive, understanding the basics of lookism and what the black pill is, and knowing where it is that you fall along that spectrum,
yeah.
is going to be incredibly important for achieving all of your personal and romantic goals in life. Like literally everything, because when it comes down to it, looks affects absolutely every single area of your life. So I don't think it's something that you can really ignore.
Okay, so counterpoint to that. First of all, sub 8, and we talked about, you said subjective evaluations. And actually, I disagree. I think subjective evaluations have always been a part of human evolution. I think that is the natural part. I think finding people attractive or unattractive is a naturally occurring thing. My problem is the classification of it into a numerical rating system. The actual idea of a rating system. To me, there is no, like, for all honestly, there is no such thing as a true, actual objective, 8 or 7 or 6. These are all subjective evaluations, and actually, even totally overall society's view of you is completely irrelevant to your dating existence. Like, how people view you physically is important in the sense that you don't want to be fat or unhealthy or unattractive, but those are things you have objective control over in your life, right? Most of the things that people find unattractive in you and will continue to find unattractive in you are reflections of your unhealthy behaviors. Stuff like being ugly. Being ugly is usually tied in modern America to eating too much junk food, drinking a lot, and not working out. I'm ugly
Okay.
because I eat a lot of junk food and don't work out, right? That's why I'm ugly. If I didn't do these things, I'd have better hair. I would have a better facial structure. I wouldn't have as much fat. These are things that you can objectively control in your life. And so, yes, there is something to be said. You have to be dealt that card in your hands. You gotta deal with what you gotta deal with. But majority of this shit, you know, doesn't like, this is not like a like you don't need to live by what people view you as too. Like if someone views you as like a 2, that's bullshit. It doesn't matter because here's the deal with women and with men in general, with humanity. And listen, it's gonna sound like a little bit of a cope here because I'm an ugly man, but there are people who will
All
find
right,
you.
blow the cokes.
Here's some cope here for you, but I got some biological stuff to back this up. I've got an example I'll give you. You being unattractive is completely subjective. There are people who will find you attractive like in their subjective view. There are people who will find you attractive, and that's a fact. There are some people who will think that I am an 8 or a 9. There are very few of them in the world, but they do exist because everyone, as humans, at the point we have reached where we have no natural predators, we are allowed to subjectively choose what we find attractive in a mate. Like, do you find all girl what you would view as a 10 girl would be something that I might view as a 3 girl? Like, I think Emma Watson is a 0 because of my subjective understanding of her. Because
I didn't know we were going to jump into such a controversial area already.
because I hate her guts because I have a subjective view because of my personal experiences with someone who likes her. So that's my personal view of her, and that is entirely, and because of that, I don't think there is an objective. There is no such thing as a sub 8 male. At all. That doesn't exist because because everyone has different views on what is attractive and unattractive. That's my opinion.
Okay, so you have a couple of arguments wrapped up there, and that was a lot. So I guess your first one is that I guess the most important is that looks themselves are not objective,
Yes.
and that there's a huge subjective element to this.
Yes.
So what I would like to say is that looks are not only subjective, not completely subjective, but we actually have a lot of data, especially over the last like 20, 30 years that has come out on exactly how objective some of these look standards are.
Sure.
For example, there was this study that was published a couple of years ago that basically took groups of people and then it would flash pictures of people, like for milliseconds. And then those people in the test had to state whether the person that they saw was attractive or unattractive.
Sure.
And basically what it is that they found was that people within milliseconds were able to snap know if someone was good looking, had strong facial structure, without even having full knowledge of what they had just seen.
Sure.
So by the end of the study, they'd basically come to the conclusion that there's something deep within our minds that basically has a set standard for what is good looking, and before we can even consciously register it, we already know.
Okay, that's a fair
We already
point.
know before we've seen it.
That's a fair point. I would also argue that test, unless it was conducted on like a mass scale, would not produce conclusive results. Like using a sample group size of, I'm not how much, I'm assuming they use like 100 people, right? 100, 200, 300. I don't know. Whatever that is, it's not going to be subjective because every single person has different qualities they're looking for and what they find attractive and unattractive. And I'll bring up a point here. There's a bird, because we're talking about evolutionary stuff. There's a bird, and this is the only evolutionary comparable animal I think there is for this kind of thing. Because then we can bring up peacocks and whatever, whatever the bullshit we're going to talk about. There's a bird in South America that lives on an island where it has no natural predators. And because of that, the way mating rituals work with these islands, because they're not really basing it on natural selection or physical features like this, the males, birds in that, will pick different objects to decorate their nests with, and the females will subjectively choose which one they want to go to, and the females will decide differently based on what that nest is. Like, there are some nests that are going to be blue, some will have, like, shiny objects, some that are going to be red, some just like that, just berries, and the females will choose radically different things they find attractive, and this occurs in nature when an animal has no natural predators, okay? So my argument is that in a system where we have no natural predators, because we are the apex of evolution, we're the top animal in the world, we have no natural predators, we have nothing hunting us down to enforce natural selection on us, that naturally, instead of switching from things that we would find subjective to having objective attractives, we switch almost entirely to subjective choice and differences among that situation. So that's my argument. What do you think about that?
Okay, so I actually think that's really interesting because now we're like going into like the nitty gritty of what drives like the human reproductive process.
Sure.
So I think this is like an entire huge discussion in and of itself. So this is where it is that I want to kind of get into like 3 different theories that basically make up the core of what it is that we incels will call the black pill.
Okay.
So the black pill is basically there's a lot of debate about exactly what it is, but the general consensus is that it refers to the biological forces that drive human relationships and the reproductive processes, and how these processes basically interact with the greater environment. So, in other words, what drives people to be in romantic relationships with others, and then how that guides their relationships. They're just greater social relationships together. So there's basically three separate theories here that drive our behavior, just like those birds that you mentioned, that they have different qualifications for what it is that they need to find a mate. This is kind of, through the research, what it is that we found tends to drive our reproductive process. So there's three theories. There's sexual economic theory, and this is basically the idea that men and women have different reproductive costs when they engage in reproduction. So, for example, every single man that's in this chat, and I imagine that everyone here is a man, almost, or 99.9. You have enough sperm in your balls to impregnate literally every single woman on the North American continent. Each of us. Okay? So, like, if we had the capability, we could raise a Mongol army in a single generation. Like, literally, of just millions of people. So our reproductive costs are very low. You can just hit it and quit it, and then that's basically done. But that's not true for women, on the other hand, though. Any woman who becomes pregnant has to have a child for 9 months. She becomes weak to predation. Her body changes in ways that could be dangerous to her health. And then afterwards, she's stuck with a child for the next, like, 18 or 20 years. So reproduction for women is very dangerous. And because of that, they have to have a high selection bias. Because if they pick the wrong person, they've basically thrown away their entire reproductive life. So that brings us to, like, the second theory that's, like, really central to the black pill, which is hypergamy. So hypergamy is a reproductive heuristic that drives women to reproduce with the strongest and most successful males within their environmental context. Because I think this is important. This is where people kind of get things mixed up, because they just assume that women are looking for some objective standard of what is the best thing. But the reality is they're just looking for kind of what's the best thing in their environment.
Okay.
So, and then brings us to the third theory, which is, how do women reproduce with the most successful person, considering that, or the most powerful person within their context, considering that the person who that usually is a dangerous criminal with an enormous horse-like penis, and that's basically not going to be the best person to be their father. So, we have what's called dual mate theory, where women will seek out men that have resources and are good at rearing children, but will actually look for men that provide good, solid genetic material in order for them to reproduce.
Okay.
So
there's a couple of things here that I want to discuss. Okay, so first of all, the first two things you've discussed are pretty, like, I think would say objective facts. You know, women do have a higher, they have to commit, they have to have children. It's a higher thing for them, so they are more choosy and they are more selective. But arguably, if you look at human society, it wasn't women picking mates; it was men picking mates, and that's something that we had been, like historically speaking.
Oh, that's a huge change that's happened. But there's one thing that I do want to.
But I'll talk about your last point, because I think you're I think you're wrong on that point, because again, because of how human evolution is occurring right now without any mates, I think that what women describe as ideal genetic stock for them is different on a person to person basis, not just general attractiveness. Women will seek out men that they find attractive on a personal level. Right? That's what you're describing, essentially, is you're describing men who they find attractive, and sometimes the men that they find attractive aren't going to be good fathers, but usually if they're deciding someone they're going to have kids with, they're picking someone who's going to be there conclusively to raise their kids for them and help them. Now, it is true to some extent that the overspreading of birth control and the high rate of divorce in America and around the world has conditioned a lot of both men and women to discount these things, to discount searching for good father figures, because a lot of times, women having sex with people and men having sex with people too, they're not thinking about raising kids with these people. That's been taken out of the equation in their minds. That's been taken out mentally, so they're not consciously thinking about it. Because actually, when describing you think as a subconscious process, it's actually a very conscious process for a lot of people. When I'm looking out for girls that I want to marry, I am thinking of how good of a mother she's going to be. And probably women even more so thinking about how good of a father this guy is going to be, right? This isn't necessarily a completely subconscious process. But if you remove the conscious thinking element of it from the equation, which we have because of modern medical advancements, and when accidents occur, which they will do because of this shit, we're left with a society that's more and more geared and pushed towards, I don't even know what I'm saying now. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
just
saying?
like sexual.
Yeah.
Though
Well.
I do kind of want to add to that because, and so at the, I think you're making a really good point in that, yeah, there are a whole host of factors that drive this process, and that a lot of things about the modern world are kind of dysgenic for the reproductive process. And I think this is something that a lot of people ignore, is that we live in an incredibly novel environment. If you think of like 99% of human history, we lived in really small villages. So this idea of hypergamy, where women just try to find the best mate, it made sense because there was only like you and like five other dudes. So picking out the best was kind of like a clear process.
Well,
But the
that's
problem
the
that we have
thing.
now,
The thing is that historically, it wasn't women picking their mate; it was men who would pick the moms. Because historically speaking, because of the way our society was structured, and was partially into doing a way to overcome evolution, because naturally in evolution, the women are the ones who pick the mates. Like in most animals,
yeah,
it is women who are picking mates. But through most of human society, men picked the mates. Men would pick out women, and women were encouraged to, be the bird with the blue hair or the blue hat or whatever the fuck you want to call it, who to dress up and attract men. Nowadays, women, because of the way sexual dynamics have changed, women are the ones picking out mates again, and um, we're going back to like that base evolution. But if you talk about human history, like mostly men were picking their mates. Men picked the mates, and most men reproduced because of this. Most men were given a wife that they had sex that they choose to have sex with. Like they've been the controlling force for most of human history. Partially because due to evolutionary needs, because of physical demands. Women. I mean the differences between men and women physically historically are much different than between like a male and a female bird. So because of that, men had higher demands for them to keep the tribe and the the human society alive physically. Like they were physical demands placed on men that weren't placed on women, that forced them essentially to have to choose to mate women to reproduce at all, because they may just die in a hunt someday. So they have to be the ones to decide. But you know
well, you bring up a really good point that, yeah, that this is different because for at least, so the modern bargain of civilization has been that, okay, every man can put down their arms, we all work towards civilization, and then instead of monopolizing women, because in the past you'd basically have like a Genghis Khan come in, he would murder everyone, and then he would just rape like all the women himself. So this is why like something like, I think it's like 2% of the world's population is descended from Genghis Khan.
yeah.
So the civilizational trade-off is like, hey, we're not going to commit violence against each other. Each of us is going to have one woman, but all of us work towards civilization together. And the thing is that because of the introduction of new technologies, this system has basically completely fallen apart, and there is almost no real way to rebuild it. So, like we were talking about how I was mentioning about hypergamy, how women have this like natural evolutionary heuristic to try to seek out what may be the best male within their context. The problem is, like I was saying, is that before you had five guys in a small tribe, and now that women have no restrictions on their sexual selection process, they are completely overwhelmed by just the sheer number of people.
Sure.
Because, like, I mean, if you think about it, like in our primitive brains, every time that you turn on TV or you see an ad or you go on TikTok or even on Tinder, every single one of those people becomes a potential mate in your mind. Like, they're people that are within your reference group. So
Sure.
before, where you might have been compared to the person that was like, just right next to you, now every single person is at a subconscious level being compared to people like Tom Cruise. The thing about Tom Cruise is that not even Tom Cruise is as good looking as Tom Cruise
Because he's short.
because we have
Because it's a
people are
movie.
using steroids,
He's
there's a lot of editing.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of
Like,
music. Well, listen, there's obviously fantasy shit, but I don't think that's necessarily a purely incel thing. I think that's a problem for basically everyone in attractiveness level in the world right now. But I think
but it
that's
hurts us specifically though. Like it hurts us specifically because men just want to kind of find whatever it is that they can because we have that hit it and quit it strategy. So for women that are trying to optimize their sexuality, they basically run into what's called the Netflix problem. Have you ever heard of that?
no, because I don't watch Netflix.
Okay, so the Netflix problem is basically where you are presented with an overwhelming number of choices to the point that you actually you can't make a heuristic in order for you to make a decision. So this is like you sit down like, hey, let's watch something, and then you start going through a list. You're like, well, maybe this one, but then you're like, actually, this one looks good, and then you spend an hour and a half doing that, and you just end up watching nothing.
Yeah, no, that makes
That's
sense.
exactly
I mean, there's a
That's
point.
exactly what's happening with women. So you have women now that even though they're attractive and they end up sleeping with a lot of men, by the time that they're 30, their reproductive window closes, and guess what? They're single. They're overwhelmed. And then this whole scenario is playing over and over to the point that actually our birth rates are going down.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I can't disagree with you on that point. But counterpoint here, to be fair to both guys and girls, I've been in this situation. I've looked through Tinder, I've tried online dating, I've tried going out to bars and stuff to pick up people, because of this vast amount of choices. And here's another fact: because of American lifestyle, American culture, and overall modern culture, you're filled with basically a mountain of trash. There's a mountain of trash that exists in the dating pool across the board, on both men and women's sides. This is a true fact. Like, especially among, I hate to say, especially among black men. There's about, like, if a woman's dating a black guy, there's about a 90% chance he's going to abandon her and the child. And that's a fact, whether we like to admit it or not. And we can call it racism or whatever. Partially it's due to the fact that we as civilization have devalued the father's role in society. We've devalued the importance of being a father and how important it is for you to take care of your kids. And because of, stuff like birth control and condoms and high divorce, where
we don't need it. Like,
well,
we
here's the
just
deal.
don't need fathers because
We absolutely
because
do.
the state is the father.
We
Yeah,
absolutely.
like the state is the father.
Well, I see. Now you're letting the state control you, because you absolutely do need a good father in your life to turn out proper, and you absolutely do need a good positive male role model figure in your life. Like,
No,
I've
I'm
got.
agreeing with you. What I'm saying is that basically they've replaced the father, which would be someone normal like you and me, instead with the state.
Well, I wouldn't
It's
call
like, why
myself
would you
normal.
do that?
I wouldn't call myself normal, man. Like, I fucking ran an 8chan board, dude, and I run a fucking, like, basically a hate site. I'm not normal. I'm not on the normal side of the
I'm on
spectrum.
fucking incels.is.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that I'm
neither of us are
I'm
what we
normal
call normal. We can call ourselves like nice guys and normals all we want, but really deep down, you and I both know we're dark web bad boys. We're not getting any fucking pussy. I'm not having kids because, like, frankly, any girl who finds out my past is gonna fucking dump me right away, and that's a fact. And that's something we all need to consider on this side of the internet. Anything you're doing, it's gonna stick around here forever. Like my video calling all women whores or some shit, that's gonna show up one day. My wife that I will definitely have is gonna find that, and bam, my life's over. So,
So it's
are
be
we
very
really?
restrained. I know that one day this might show up somewhere, and I'm like, we kept it academic. I controlled my impulse to call women whores. No, I totally feel you on that. But the thing is, this kind of goes back to this whole thing with, like, lookism to begin with. As people that maybe grew up not being as attractive as others, that makes you a target for bullying. If you're shorter or you're ugly or some kind of different than the average, this usually means you're going to get bullied.
Well,
And even though we kind of suck it up and be like, bullying is nothing, it's like that shit affects you for the rest of your life.
Okay,
I
I got
negative outlook, poor mental health.
I gotta disagree with you on that one. I don't think bullying as a kid is based on looks particularly. At least when I was growing up. Let me just approve the comments here. When I was growing up, when I went to school, none of the kids got bullied for their looks, because as children, you basically look the same all the way up until about middle school or high school. Okay, mostly bullying as children won't occur. I mean, that's why bullying in middle school kind of ramps up, because people start looking different and they all get hot. But everyone's on hormones. Middle school sucks. That's just you're not everybody. Even jocks get bullied in middle school. Like I'm not gonna lie. Even chads will get fucked over in middle school. There's no one gets out of there unscathed. No offense. But as children, real bullying occurs based on your behavior, not so much on your looks. When you're a child, children look about the same until they reach about age 10 or 11. Let's not kid ourselves. They all look like fucking kids up until then. Until then, what? There's an ugly child? What the fuck is an ugly kid? Have you seen a baby? How do you determine if a baby's ugly?
No, we've all seen an ugly kid, bro. You see it. It's like
Where?
your friend comes over. He's like, "Oh, if I finally had my baby," and you show him, you're like, "Man."
All
you know what,
babies
man,
are ugly until they like all babies look fucking weird. Like, you've seen a baby.
No, there's ugly babies.
I disagree. I disagree entirely. I think almost babies and kids look about the same. I don't think kids are bullying each other based on looks. They're bullying each other based on their behavior and their attitude. And that's why bullying needs to get brought back, because people are getting away with shit. People are getting away with shit too much, bro. You see all these fucking twerps, all these Zoomers younger than me, they're all acting like fucking crazy with their goddamn Z-Zim. Oh, I'm a frog kid. My pronouns are pitter patter and ribbiter. These kids need to be bullied. We have removed bullying from the equation. We removed
now. This is my reality. The things I have to deal with on a daily basis.
We removed bullying from the equation. Look what it fucking caused. Okay, I'm not saying we need heavy bullying, because I went through some fucking awful shit, like some really bad shit. Like we're talking like really messed up stuff that happened to me in elementary school, middle school. I'm not even gonna talk about it here because I don't feel safe doing it. But when you're talking about bullying with children and how that affects people growing up, it's not I don't see it based on looks at all. The kids who got bullied in my class the most were the kids who like licked the floor, or like would eat their own boogers and shit. People like, ew, that's gross. That
So
is what gets you
basically
bullied.
consider like maladaptive socially. And this is the thing, because there's a lot of research that's been going into this over the last couple of years, especially in the education system, because there's like this big movement to basically end all bullying, and there's a lot of research going into what exactly leads to it, what causes it, and one of the big factors that has been noticed is children who just are shorter than other children, because it's just basically an easy target. If you're like maybe half a foot shorter than everyone else, that just makes you a target for bullying. And then also unattractiveness. And this is the thing about unattractiveness. Like, this isn't just other children who will bully other children for not being attractive. I was just reading a incredibly blackpilling study, actually, that found that parents will actually favor their good-looking children over their unattractive children. That over time, that this itself can lead to the development of like mental health issues and complexes. Because if you think about it, like from a biological perspective, like that we're just animals. Let's just pretend that for like a second. And you have one of your children who is probably more likely to pass on your genes, you'll probably invest more resources into that one child. Like storks will actually do this. So they'll lay a bunch of eggs, and when their eggs hatch, they'll pick one or two of the ugliest storks, and they will literally throw them out of the nest.
Yeah. No, that does happen, but it mostly happens in Chinese societies, is what I've noticed. It's mostly a Chinese thing. Like, Chinese will throw out their ugly babies. They'll be more extreme at. I guess it does happen subconsciously with American people as well, but again, they'll have strong preference. Like, if they didn't have a boy in the family, they'll, like, throw him out so they can throw the girl out so they can get a boy or whatever. There's lots of shit that happens there. But, counterpoint is that I don't think that's that big of an issue, and I don't think that kids are that. I don't really view kids as ugly or attractive. They're just kids, man. Like, at some point, even as a kid, I didn't think of people as ugly or attractive. They were just other kids like me, and
That's fair. So
and I don't think that it's that big of an issue. I don't think if it does happen, it's happening at such a small point, right, that it isn't that necessarily effective, and it's really more of an indicative of a larger problem in our school system, which is nothing to do with how kids are attractive. It's not based on lookism. It's based on how fucked up the school system is and what they're teaching our kids. That's the real problem with schools. That beyond that, and also how abusive the teachers are, and how much they let like fucking teachers are raping kids, and they're letting other kids rape other kids, and they're getting away with it, and nobody's talking about that shit. And that happens
why they're not talking about it?
Because they don't care about kids.
Why?
They don't
Well,
care.
not just they don't care about kids, but
And also
who's
they
doing
want.
it?
Oh,
Who's doing the rape?
it's the teachers and also the other kids. Actually, the other kids will sexually
so
assault them.
what kind of teachers? Because this is we need to get into the nitty gritty. We're going deep into investigation here. So
I actually, in my
overwhelmingly
experience,
tend to be female.
female. Yeah, that is true. That there's more women
Overwhelmingly
teachers than
tend to
men
be female.
teachers.
And we have this natural human tendency to basically infantilize women, even though we know that most of the rapists are women, and actually sometimes even attractive women. Because they're female,
Jesus
we tend to downplay these crimes because we basically have almost this inset belief that women don't have any kind of agency.
I guess. I don't know. At least in my experience with dealing with my personal life, because I can only speak about what I've gone through personally, right? The school system is run by very fucked up women. That is true. It is run by genuinely mal-fucking adjusted, it's psycho women who are in control of our school system. Like the vice prince, if you're if you've got a female vice principal or principal in your school system, even if you got, and most of you got guy vice principals and principals are fucked up too, but women vice principal and principals are really fucked up. They're controlling. They're essentially prison guards, but they don't have any of the moral quandaries about it, and they actually allowed to get away with more shit. Especially in Americans. I can't speak for Euro school system. I don't know what the fuck it's like over there. For American school system, it's not just that it's women, it's very psycho women. Psycho women get into fucking teaching so they can control and abuse people beneath them because that's what they get off on, I'm assuming. But no.
I have a little bit of experience in this area, and I can say that is absolutely true. There are some people that are incredibly mentally ill at the best of times, and they're basically entrusted with your children. How many, 40, 50 hours a week for an entire year, and these are the people that are molding your kids, people who don't have a partner, have 5 cats, and are just borderline schizophrenic or some kind of maladaptive. So yeah, no, you're right.
No, okay. So my point is with this. I don't even know how we got on this. This just fucking went. My point is that in my experience, it is crazy women who are getting into roles. Crazy guys will go on to be like prison guards and like cops and like, you know, film directors and film executives. That's where they'll go to abuse people. But women will go and become teachers or like nurses, and they'll put their psycho shit there and do some fucked up shit to you there. So really, it's you gotta watch out for it. And in general, I would recommend not sending your kids to any kind of public school or even most private schools. So I would genuinely homeschooling at this point is better if you can afford it, if you have the time, because it's a time commitment and it's a money commitment, because one of you has essentially not worked then in a relationship, and right now, I mean, in relationships, you both of you have to be working to make ends meet in most countries.
So the thing with homeschooling is actually, depending on your state, I don't know which state it is that you're in, but a lot of states have now what are called virtual schools, and it's actually provided by the government. So it's basically just online classes. So they're basically just giving the bare bones essential of learning, and then afterwards you can just supplement the rest. So my sister is currently going through virtual school, and it's been great because you can basically cut down on the availability of Globo Homo, because that's basically what this is.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when she was in 3rd or 4th grade, they were already telling her about how gender is fluid and all this other nonsense that you basically thought would only stick to like places like Tumblr, but it's actually going out into
it's in university. It was at universities years ago, and now it's in like regular schools. The only concern I have was fully online schooling, and this is from my experience because I've known people who've done this. I mean, most parents went through it this last year with fucking COVID shit, you know. And I've got relatives who have young kids who did this, and they all agree. For a lot of kids, it's very miserable. It's a very miserable experience, especially for young kids like kindergarten, preschool, where like a lot of your learning is like playing and like socially interacting with people. When you're in that stage, you know, it's very, very miserable to just be sitting alone in your room on your computer. Like, kids will especially boy kids will go insane doing that. And they'll go insane at regular school, but they were going even more insane at this. I don't know. There's probably a better system out there, but if you're going to be homeschooling your kids, you should be having a lot of kids doing it. And also, you probably need at least one parent there. If you have to like do group homeschooling or whatever, but there should be at least one parent there at all times to assist them. Like, it can't.
I absolutely agree with you.
And that means you have to not have a job.
And that's a problem, at least today in our like hyper-capitalist society. But we kind of got a little off track, but this was good to talk about because I think these are important things.
Yeah, but I think
overall the thing with like bullying and attractiveness, like I will actually just go and I will see this argument and I'll go like, okay, so we'll say that not everything in school has to do with looks, and we'll go on from that. But the thing is that in every other aspect of your life, like let's say that when you go through school, your looks have nothing to do with it, and then you go and you get into the real world. So this is where it is that we actually have like some very hard facts about what role attractiveness plays in your ability to get a job, to get an interview. People who are attractive here, actually wrote a couple things down, so just give me a second.
Sure. Well, while you're looking at that, I'll make my opening argument, which is that most of the things that people will find unattractive with you, and I said this earlier, are things you have entirely control over. Your natural features, well, like my huge fucking nose and my, like, you know, weird eyes and, like, my bad acne and stuff, that stuff I can't control. But my hair, my, you know, even my acne, my fat, my attitude, you know, everything about me that I can project outwards that, like, matters to most people is a result of stuff that I've physically done to myself.
I feel you, but it sounds over the phone. I've never actually met you in person, but it sounds like you're at least 6 feet tall.
No, I'm 5'9".
You're 5'9"?
Yeah, I'm 5'9".
Manlet alert! No, I'm 5'6", dude. I'm 5'6". There's no gym for your height. There's no gym for your height.
Unless you're gonna be a basketball player, most people don't give a shit for that for jobs.
Oh, well, so when it comes to like, especially in dating with things like height, like, that is probably one of the most attractive things about you as a man. There are 3 basic things. It's your ethnicity. If you are white, you will be more attractive than someone who is black or Indian or, God forbid, Asian. Sorry, rice cells. It's the reality of the dating market. Your height. The taller that you are, the more genetically fit you are, which makes you a more attractive partner. And then also your face. Again, these are things that have just been established by the research litter for a long time.
That's fair. So I'll counter this. Counterpoint. Number 1, race. That's actually, you're not wrong that white men are probably the most the ones that get the most matches with people, right? But end of the day, you know, usually people prefer to stick to their own race. So if you're black, you can usually be fine by with black girls. It's just if you're trying to date outside your race that I think that really comes into play.
But that's the problem. So this is like the weird thing, and this is also something that I've like thought about a lot. Because if you think about it from an evolutionary perspective, you're like, well, every male from their race should be optimized for the women's sexual desires. Because basically we have evolved with our women, and we should be the best
Yeah.
thing. But when you look at Tinder studies, what you actually see is that white men are preferred over almost every single other racial group.
Yeah,
Even
but that's Tinder, and
like
I was having this argument with someone else in the comments, and that I genuinely believe that Tinder is removed from reality to the point that I don't think it's a good reflection of how general normal people behave. I don't think Tinder is a good reflection of how, because I think generally this is what I've used, especially the last like 5 years. I mean, Tinder's been around a long time. When it first happened, you maybe would have had an argument, but to me, because of the reputation Tinder has, especially among young people my age and people younger than me, even like people around my age, especially people who've been on it a long time, who've got experience with it, generally people only view it as a way to get hookups. They don't view it as a way to get relationships. And I would say maybe 13 to 20% of the population is looking to get hookups. Maybe.
So do you remember what we were saying at the beginning about like reference groups? Like we were talking about like reference groups and how modern technology has basically increased our reference group.
Sure.
Even if you are not around Tom Cruise is in some way competing with you as a male within the
On
dating
like a
space.
macro scale, yeah, but on like a day-to-day, like how that affects people's lives, I would disagree.
So it's no, I mean I agree. It's not literally like woman's like you're not Tom Cruise, get the fuck out of here, you know. But it is something that is on the back of your mind where it's like people like Tom Cruise are available. So that's tangentially in the back of the mind. So the thing is with things like Tinder is not the fact just that that people use it, but it's the fact that it actually exists as an option. The fact that it exists as an option and that you are able to optimize your sexual selection process. Because the thing about it is
Okay.
that
Well, okay, let's back up a second. Let's back up. Optimize sexual selection process. There's a couple of problems with this. Number one, Tinder is essentially just photos, which can be edited. Let's not kid ourselves. So again, for guys and girls, it's very difficult to trust Tinder in general. That's why I don't think a lot of people use it for anything but hookups. So for a majority of the population, Tinder is a useless thing. Not because they can't go out there and optimize the sexual selection, because they will essentially have no real success. Yes, girls will get a ton of matches, and like me, I've got 30 matches on Tinder because I've got the best Tinder profile ever created. I've handcrafted the greatest Tinder profile by creating the greatest profile description of all time. And that's a fact. You can look it up. I've got a video. I can pull it up and read it to you if you want. It's truly the best. But this is an outlier. Normally, if I just was going on there and put like a normal generic Tinder profile, I'll get like 1 or 2 matches. And yes, girls can get a lot more matches with guys on Tinder. But generally speaking, most of the guys they'll match with on Tinder, they'll have no fucking success with. You're rolling the dice. I would say for every 100 matches you get on Tinder, you'll get maybe one, even a hookup. You'll get maybe one like actual hookup, and that's a fact. Like most Tinder stuff goes nowhere, so it's basically useless to most guys. It goes nowhere for men. And here's the deal. Here's something perspective that I've talked to from girls in my like life that I've talked to with real like friends, friends of friends of my family. It goes nowhere for most women too, and that's something you have to think about and something that you should consider. I mean, maybe it's perspective you haven't heard before, but in general, it goes nowhere for most people overall. It's a completely useless tool for most people. It does nothing for them. They can achieve nothing on it. That's my point.
You're saying that like Tinder is like a dead end for everyone.
It's a dead end for basically everyone except people who want hookups. Except for about 20% of the population that like about college age who are, extremely attractive and want to hook up, not to date, but to do hookups. It is useful for them. For everyone else, it is completely useless because it does not work as a dating alternative. And you'll find that even despite, being trapped inside the pandemic, Tinder overall success rate has not gone up, in my mind, in the last year at all. Even compared to like when we had, we were able to go with bars and Tinder, which is an option. Even when Tinder was basically the only real option for your dating, for like a successful huge pool of dating, it wasn't successful for most people. And that to me is indicative that it's not worth using as a reference point for studies. That's why I would say there's no point bringing up Tinder shit in general, because it's useless. For most people, and most people, not only is it useless, but most people have recognized it's useless now. Most people in the last, 5 years have recognized this is a pointless endeavor for me to intake. That's my point.
But you have to think about it like this. Like, I totally feel where it is that you're coming from, and that maybe, concentrating on Tinder as like a whole might be a little bit myopic. But the thing is, the reality right now is that something like 47% of people find their partners online. So it's even though Tinder is one specific platform, I think it's important not to get caught up necessarily on just like the evils of this platform, because we see these exact same patterns kind of play out in different places. Like
Well, what other where do you pull that statistic from? The 47%, is that 47% of the world, or like of
no,
America, like Europe,
in
like where
U.S.
the
In the
U.S.
U.S. within
Okay,
the last 10 years, 47% of people are meeting their significant other through some kind of online network.
online
Here,
network. Okay, so could
typically,
it? Are we talking like because then that takes not just dating apps, that's Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter. That's a huge selection of things that social media represents that isn't just dating apps. So I would say maybe what? Like I would say about 10% of that, of the 47% were meeting on dating apps. That'd be my argument. And I don't have any data to back that up, but that'd be my guess what the actual reflection is.
what is the name of that site? It was like there was Barrel of Fish and then there was one more. It was
Plenty
like
of
Cute
fish.
something. I literally Plenty of Fish and then there was another one. I just said it was like Cute something. Um, oh God, because they released this really blackpilling study that was really interesting. So basically, it's kind of like Facebook, but it's for dating. Okay, Cupid. Oh my God, yeah, Okay Cupid.
And
So
then my
Okay
OK
Cupid
Cupid.
released.
Okay, OK Cupid is dead. I use OK
No, Okay
Cupid.
Cupid is dead.
It's a dead
But it
fucking
was
site.
really interesting because while they were operating, they released these series of studies. So they wanted to kind of like apply like data science to how it is that people communicate on their website and what makes people answer your messages. And it was funny because they eventually ended up taking down all of their data because it was incredibly blackpilling. It was exactly what it is that you would think. It's that men who were attractive were getting the most messages from women. They were essentially monopolizing the market, and women overall just got the bulk of all of the messages. So you'd have men who would send 10, 20 messages to women, have them all unanswered, and then you'd have these women that would just get so much attention. And just if you think of it as like a market mechanism, like supply and demand,
Okay,
women
you're right.
have so much access to choice that at that point it
You're
becomes really
right.
easy
You're
to be
right.
able to say to anyone for any small defect, it's like, hey, this guy has a small nose. Hey, this guy's 5'8". I can date 6 feet. So why even bother? Because you're just overwhelmed by the sheer number of choices that you're able to easily optimize your sexual preferences.
Counterpoint. It is supply and demand. Take a look at the supply point here. How many men are on these apps versus how many women? I would say it's about 70% men, 30% women. So of course women are able to be more picky because there's less of them on these sites. You go through on
So
these
let's talk
sites.
about us. Like we're as incels, like 1/3 of the male population right now under 30 are virgins.
That is true. Yes.
You have this huge population of men that are getting literally absolutely nothing. So if you think about like the total number of sex that's being had, which actually hasn't gone down, but the number of virgins is going up, at least male virgins is going up. You're having a higher concentration of sex in a smaller number of people. So the demand is exploding for them, which gives them the ability to choose. While people like us, we get literally absolutely nothing. So you just end up trying to go for anything, absolutely anything that you can get. So it's completely and totally
Well,
mismatched at like every level.
there's a on a macro level you may have a point, but on the thing is the problem is when you have that mindset of you'll go for anything. Generally speaking, you'll achieve nothing. Generally speaking, when you talk to women in general, they want someone who is attracted to them. They want someone who likes them because that they are them, right? So if you're going into this mentally thinking, "Oh, I'll take anything," then you're probably not going to come out with anything because you're not going to be because if you even if you find a girl that will talk to you, if you are just treating her as like nothing, like just something like you're desperate, that's not only as being desperate unattractive, which it just is, but in general, if you're not looking like okay, if you don't care about personality or even looks, you just like say, well, you should care about those things because she cares about those things, right? And she wants to feel like she's attractive. She wants to feel like that you like her for her, right? Mentally. Now, in my mind, if I was dating a girl and she thought I was ugly, that would upset me a lot. Like I would never date someone who finds me ugly or annoying or my personality like obtuse or obnoxious, right? That's something that would upset me if I was dating for someone for long term, right? And the same would probably be true for women. That would be my argument to counter that. Is that yeah, sure, like you're going into this thinking, yeah, oh, I'll take anything, but it's not a protective or healthy mindset to have,
So
even if it's
it's
true.
it's interesting. We have this theory that we call juggernaut theory, and juggernaut theory basically what it says is that second place is actually first place, which is really interesting within the dating scheme. So you have these women that are like, let's say that the PSL scale actually works. We can apply it 1 through 10.
I don't.
Men want so men want something that is guaranteed. So men are more willing to negotiate with their desires and are willing to shoot down. So what happens is, for example, let's say that you're Chad, you're a really good looking guy, and you want to
Sure.
have sex like right now. So the problem is that the higher that you go with someone that's more attractive, the more difficult it is for you to actually to have sex, even if you are attractive. So what ends up happening is you have this process where you're like, hey, this girl is not as attractive as I'm usually something that I look for. But the thing is that due to my attractiveness, this is basically a done deal. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna approach her and I'm gonna see if I can have sex with her. Even though I'm an incredibly good looking man, she's not that great looking, but because of the differential, it's gonna happen. So what ends up
Um,
happening is that you end up having all of these women that are essentially average, and they just have this huge surplus of Chad cock come in, and it kind of gives them the delusion that they are A tier, that they are absolutely gorgeous, and then when it comes to people that look like them, they're not interested because they have access to better mates.
okay, counterpoint to this. First of all, this is all based on the predication that the 10 scale is real, which I argued at the beginning that it's not. So first of all, we'll take a step back here. Take a little bit of a step back. Number one.
If you,
And
if you
on
have
a
like some woman that's 300 pounds and she's bald, like we're not gonna sit here and be like, well, man,
yeah,
subjectively, it's
I
like,
don't
no,
find her
dude,
attractive.
she's 300
I don't
pounds,
find her
she's
attractive. You're
bald.
right. You're right. But guess what? There's a guy out there and she's a 10 to him. And that's a fact. You can't deny it that there's some sick fuck out there who really wants to fuck that.
You crossed the line, Gahul. There is no man.
Yes, there is. There are some really messed up people out there.
Gahul. There's no man.
There
You're
is.
not gonna tell me that
There
some
is.
300-pound, one-legged woman that in a Walmart cart that is wearing a muumuu cart and shit.
That woman has 3 kids, you motherfucker. So some guy did find her attractive. And here we are. We aren't having sex. So what's the difference? What's the difference?
His eyes, his nose, and he's going down.
Because
This
he
what
is
it means
no.
to be a
Okay,
man.
first of all, number one.
Sacrifice.
Okay, you have to remember the average IQ and average American is very low, so he's not thinking about stuff like that. So let's talk about that. The Walmart. If she's going to Walmart, she's probably not the smartest person. If she's wearing the fucking muumuu at Walmart, and there's probably a dumb guy, a dumb redneck guy who will love her and treat her right for the rest of her life. Or probably she's with like 5 husbands or whatever the fuck, because that's how American society is. But she's had 5 dudes and you've had 0. So what is she doing? You're not. What is she doing? You're not. Think about that. And it's not that she's a woman, as much as you like to be it.
She's doing that I'm not.
As much as you wish that was the truth, but the reality is you and I both know that she's playing with the worst hand possible. She's a no leg, she's fat, she's bald, and she's getting sex, and you're not. And what's the difference? It's not just that she's a woman, it's not. Deep down, I know you know deep down, it's her fucking attitude. She's too stupid to care. She's too stupid to care. And you're overthinking this shit, dude. That's why we're incels. We're not incels because we're ugly, or because we're dudes, or because we're fat. It's because we're overthinking this shit. We're trying to plan out, we're trying to mathematically calculate the best way to get laid. And guess what? It doesn't work! Because that's not how it works!
Black pilled again.
No! That's the problem, is that you're blackpilling. If you blackpill, you're actually fucking yourself up and you're making yourself worse. Taking the black pill makes you worse off. That's the irony. It's not even realizing, taking the black pill, to me, is not realizing that we're in a shit situation in our society. That is true. I agree with that. And that things are fucked. But taking the black pill is saying, things are shit and I can do nothing about it. That's the problem, because guess what? You can do something about it. You always have been able to. It's always within your power. All you have to do is take an EMP to Twitter headquarters and shut down every Tinder site in the world by non-violently and completely ethically and legally taking down these websites. Your life would be dramatically better. There's things you can do.
I agree with you on the role on the destruction of technological society. That is a conversation for another time. But I agree with you in that. But I do want to make a distinction that I think is important.
Listen, here's the deal. I'm not like saying that white pill is better than black pill, but generally speaking, would you rather talk to a white person or a black person? White pill or black pill? Which one are you taking, buddy? Are you a racist? Which are you racist for?
You can take both, and I think that in reality.
So you're the mulatto pill. You're the mulatto pill. You're... my fucking Digimon! Shit! Sorry.
You have to do a little bit of everything, honestly, because the thing is, like, the harsh realities, and I know that you disagree with this, but I think that there's just so much overwhelming research on the role that looks play in absolutely everything, even with things like I was talking about that unconscious study where people just look at flashes, that people make snap judgments about you without even knowing who it is you are just based on your looks. And this affects almost every area of your life. Promotions. People who are shorter, for example, tend to make 10% less than their peers, and they tend to congregate on
Wait,
the lower ends of the
people who are
socioeconomic
shorter.
spectrum.
You said the reference point
Yeah.
for masculine attractiveness was Tom Cruise. Do you know how tall Tom Cruise is? He's shorter than
You know
you.
how much Tom Cruise pays to not let a single person know that he's 5'6"?
It doesn't matter. He still had to get his job at some point, right? He still had to audition at some point to be in Top Gun as a 5'3" man, and he got it. Because he's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise isn't just attractive because of his looks. He's attractive because of his personality. You gotta remember this. You look at someone like Tom Cruise. He's got charisma.
He's literally considered like one of the most attractive men in all of Hollywood.
Yes,
he's
and it's-
paid for a lot of surgeries with his jaw. I mean, if you just look at him over time, like the man is basically a modern marvel of plastic surgery at this point, and he's not making those investments for no reason.
It's not plastic
He's
surgery.
aging
It's
out,
it's
and
Scientology.
get-
He's getting the energy from the Xenu, and that's what's keeping him attractive. Duh. You
Xenu.
fucking idiot.
Xenu's forever keeping him young.
That's what it is. But it doesn't matter because here's the deal. At some point, Tom Cruise was not the most attractive man in Hollywood. He's not the big star. He's not the big guy, right? At some point, he was a guy auditioning for a role, and he was short, and he still got it. Think about
Well,
that.
He came from a different era, honestly, and I'm gonna say that a lot of the
No, he didn't.
Weird
He came from the
things that
80s.
are-
Wait, hold up. The 80s was like the most, was like the
80s
most height obsessed, muscle
80s is like-
obsessed.
It's like 9,000 years ago, bro. That's like
was
like
40
talking
years
about
ago.
ancient history at this point.
Right, but here's
We're
my
even-
point. As someone who likes 80s wrestling a lot, the 80s was the most height obsessed, muscle obsessed, and like masculine guy obsessed era in all of American history. That was at the point where it was most important that you were tall and muscular, and he still succeeded in the 80s despite that. So he overcame the struggle of the man, my
I'm
friend.
not saying he's overcoming. I'm not saying that he didn't overcome, but we're talking about the average man, and sadly, the average man is not Tom Cruise. Like,
But the average
this
man
is-
could become Tom Cruise with attitude.
The average man cannot become Tom
Yes.
Cruise. Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise, and he's done really great making his bid in life. But unfortunately,
Here's a
life
deal.
is
Here's a black pill for you. Tom Cruise didn't become successful because of his looks. There are more objectively attractive men in Hollywood at this time besides Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise became successful because of his charisma. Charisma is more important than looks, and it always has been.
He's a very conventionally attractive man, and
He
like
is.
I said before,
He
the
is, but
thing-
he is
the
also-
thing written
I
into
would
his contracts is that you cannot show him in a scene where he looks small. Like,
Sure.
that's actually written into his contracts.
You know
can't
who
have
I
sometimes-
wouldn't consider conventionally
like an
attractive, my friend? Who I would consider actually conventionally unattractive. In many ways, Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel's not a conventionally attractive man. If you look at his face, he's got a
Right?
big
I'm not
nose. He's got a big nose. He's got weird lips. He's kind of like a mixed race dude. If you see him with hair, he looks kind of like me with hair. Like he's got like a weird like receding hairline. He has to shave. It's not a choice. But he is the star of the most successful modern film franchise, $1 billion film franchise, Fast and the Furious. Right? He is. He's not attractive by many metrics. Sure, he's in shape, but that's because he goes to the gym. But he's got charisma and he's got his personality, and that's what drives entertainment value. That's what, and we're talking about star power in movies, and we're talking about movie stars, right? What drives your success in your life as a man, more so than your looks or even your physical appearance, is your charisma and your energy. That's always what gets you success in almost every situation,
I agree
because
with
that's
you
what's
that, yeah, those things
yeah,
are
first
important. But then this is
First
the problem
impre-
with saying that this applies to the normal person, because like, okay, we have the big three: looks, money, status. The problem in the modern era is that most of us are not going to become millionaires, and women are actually starting to out earn men. So women are making more money than us than we are.
sure.
Status, not all of us are going to become movie stars. Very few men actually make it and have huge status. So when you come down to it, for the average man, the only thing that they really have to compete is their looks. Like,
Here's the
yeah,
deal.
it's like, oh,
Disagree.
You can be Vin Diesel, you can make it to the top, or Danny Trejo even. and
Disagree.
you can
I
make-
disagree because on the money thing, there's a scale. Most men like that I meet around my area are like fucking seriously poor, like dirtbag scumbags. Like you have to remember, we're talking about like, you know, average guy. Average guy is better than 50%. You have to remember that. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Not alcoholic, not on drugs. You know, how many people in like the world in America are on like fucking painkillers and like, you know, opioid shit right now? If you're not on that, you're beating out like half the country. So you have to remember, you're dealing with, as long as you're playing yourself, you're living a healthy life, and like you have a stable job, and you would be a good like dad. You've already got like fucking better than most guys are at right now in America. So you know, I don't even know what you're. And frankly, to me, my argument is that looks are less important than your charisma. That is what I'm arguing. And I think there's plenty of examples of less attractive men out-succeeding, outpacing more attractive men because of their charisma and their personality than basically anything you do. And also, when you say looks, you're talking about attractiveness. And general attractiveness for men, again, looks are important. But for most girls, and most guys, too, when you're hiring a guy for a job, yeah, it's good to hire an attractive guy, but who are you going to hire for a job? The guy who had a great interview, but looks kind of like I guess you would describe as a 3 out of 10. The 3 out of 10 who had a great interview and great references and great sources, or the 7 out of 10 who was a jackass. You know, who are you gonna hire?
But
You're
this
gonna
is the issue. Who's in the human resources department? And this is one of the things that's really making attractiveness such a big deal in the work environment. It's that almost every single HR department is staffed by a frumpy 50-year-old woman who hasn't had sex in like 20 years.
Okay, so
these women are the one making the hiring decisions. And
HR really doesn't make hiring decisions, though. At least in my experience, when I work at, I mean, maybe it is different in the university system, but at least, you know, where I work and where I've worked every time I've had a job, it's always been like what would be my manager is the one who's doing the hiring process, because they're the ones you have to actually work with. When you're doing like a real job, like
men will be more fair to you. They will, because we're based on meritocracy.
Well, even the women
that,
who I've had as managers have been pretty fair to me. I don't know. It's whatever. Well, actually, no, I've had some pretty psycho women managers too. But I've also had some psycho men
real
managers.
Psychos that have come after me for literally no reason. Like, I was a manager for a theater. This was years ago, and I kind of like finagled my way into being the manager, but the woman who was over me absolutely hated me, and I don't know for what reason, because I did a really good job. I had really awesome numbers, but it didn't really matter to her. It was just she wanted me fucking gone. And then at the end of it, within like 3 months, I was out. And that's just shit that happens. Like, people will just not like you, something about you.
Yeah,
and then
that's just
come after you.
That shit happens though. I mean, that's just something that happens in all jobs and in any working field and stuff, and it's not good. You know, it's not good when it happens, but it's not something you have like real control over in your life, so you really can't get too hung up on it.
So men and women working together like that side by side, if you think about it historically, is pretty unnatural. Because, like, when we're around each other, it's basically for the courtship process. So what we're doing is, since we've now decided that everyone is, we're all, like, beings completely devoid of evolutionary mechanisms or, like, adaptations, we all just work together. But in reality, the only thing that we're bringing is the sexual market into the workplace. So when we start seeing these things, and remember, these are major corporations doing these studies in order to find implicit biases. So it's not even within their interests to find that there are biases in attraction, because from their perspective, it would be the best. It's like, oh, we're totally unbiased. There's absolutely nothing wrong. And even these corporations are saying, they're like, yeah, we do have biases when it comes to attractive people. So there's like new AI technology that's being created in order to try to like work around some of those implicit biases.
Sure, yeah.
So this is something that they themselves are saying, but we kind of got off a little bit.
Well, I think we're on topic. We're on the right topic here, which is, my point, which going forward is that I don't believe in lookism. I don't believe in the black pill. I don't believe in lookism. And the reason I don't is I don't think looks have as much importance in the world as people ascribe to them. And even if they did, obsessing over it personally will accomplish nothing for you. And the only thing you can really do in your life to improve your life is to make yourself healthy, make yourself better, and fuck what people say about you. You can't let what people rate you affect your life or control your life, because then you're becoming a slave to the system you hate. Even if we agree that this system is real, right? Even if I agree with that, I would still never, ever, ever be on board with obsessing over it, because that would be accepting it as real and accepting that it can't be changed, because I don't believe in it and I don't want it to be real, and I don't think it matters if it's real, because I don't need to accept it, because I'm a man and no one can tell me what to do. Not even some hot smoking 10 out of 10 Chad or some hot smoking 10 out of 10 Stacy. They can't tell me what to do. No one can. I'm in control of my own destiny. I control my life.
I tell you, like, hey man, you smell like you haven't taken a shower in a couple of weeks. Are you just gonna take that on? Just take the hit on the chest and be like, man,
Have I not? I took a shower this morning. If you smell like you haven't taken a shower in a couple weeks, maybe you should take a shower. If you smell, Maybe you
I'm
should.
at 17 showers a day right now, and I still don't understand why women aren't raining from the sky. But
Maybe it's not taking a shower. Maybe it's that you haven't brushed your teeth. There's lots of things you can do to make yourself not smell. Have you stopped smoking? Are you smoking? You probably smell. You're smoking
No,
weed.
we're
You
getting
probably
lost
smell.
there.
Listen, you can control how you smell. People do not naturally exude unsmelly attitude.
None of us are gonna sit there and we're gonna go like, all right, that's fine. That's just who I am. It's like, no, nigga, you fucking smell like ass. Obviously, we're gonna go and we're gonna take a shower. Someone says, hey, man, you have a booger hanging out of your nose. We're gonna take that feedback, and then afterwards, we're gonna use that to make differences in our lives to improve our
Yes. Yes. Those are the things you control. There are things you can't control, yes, but guess what? Most of the things that people judge you on attractiveness are things you can control. Almost all of it.
But you can't, because like things like height, for example.
Height doesn't matter. The only time height matters is in a job where you literally need to be tall. For most people, and guess what? There are girls who will only date tall guys, yes. But guess what? Guess what? There are girls out there who only like manlets. They exist, they're real, and they're looking for you, and they can't find you. They're forced to date these tall people because they're probably 5'9". Listen, there are tall girls out there who are like 5'9", 5'10", which is tall for a girl, who desperately want to date a short guy because it's what matches them up with them genetically. Because it's what they need to create a better genetic stock. And they can't find you. They are forced because most guys who are short want girls who are shorter than them. You just need to date tall girls. That's your problem. Find a girl who's giant and date her.
There's nothing. There's no person on earth who has more contempt than a tall woman dating a short man.
And she wants you. She desperately wants you, dude.
This isn't even new data. Like strictly based, even from like 1996, we have studies that show that like women are really inflexible when it comes to height. From the statistics that I've read, it's something like 85% of women will not date.
Well, make them flex. Just make them flex then.
So let's say that you're 5'6", and the average height for a woman in the United States is 5'4", and then you have like a standard deviation of like 2 inches. So you're talking about a good percentage of the population that is going to be about your height or a little bit taller than you.
Sure.
And that just completely cuts you off from the dating market in that respect.
No,
I won't budge
it doesn't.
on the height thing because
I won't budge on it. I am not that tall. I'm 5'9". I'm what, a little bit taller than you? It's not. We're both manlets.
And I say this to the audience out there. So if you ever go on a if you want to make a dating profile, try this experiment. Try writing that you're 6'2".
Wait.
How that changes.
Stop. I have a counterpoint. I'm gonna bring up the biggest fuck you to this height pill thing I've ever taken, and I want you to think about this long and hard. Long and hard, okay? Prince was 5'2", 5'3". He's one of the shortest men to ever exist in modern music history. Prince got so much fucking pussy, it's insane. I know
and lots of dick.
We don't know that. That's alleged. No, actually, I know that's actually not true because Prince was many things, but he was not gay, and I know that's for a fact because I knew my hairstylist who cuts my hair fucked Prince, and she was like one of a harem of women who fucked Prince. There's like 1,000, like there was like thousands of women who fucked Prince. Prince was a total complete Chad, and he was 5'2". Prince is one of the biggest Chads in the history of America, and for sure the biggest Chad in Minnesotan history. Okay, I'm in Minnesota. I'm wearing a Wisconsin shirt, but
He's from Minnesota.
Yeah, he's from Minnesota. He's from Minnesota. He's the biggest Chad in Minnesota history. 5'2". Can you argue? What's the counter argument? Tom Cruise, manlet. Half the people who run this country are manlets. Napoleon Bonaparte was a manlet, and he conquered the entire world.
He wasn't a manlet. He was like 5'6", which at the time would have made him like 5'9". Because the problem that we have with these kind of examples, it's like, for example, this is kind of like the Bill O'Reilly, like, no handout type mentality, where it's just you go up to someone and you're like, hey man, things are economically rough. And it's like, have you tried not being a snowflake? Because I know this guy that's like a millionaire, and that's exactly what we're pointing at. We're pointing at like ridiculous statistical outliers. People like Prince was
black. Prince was okay. Here's something that you need to know. Prince was having sex with tons of women before he was a millionaire. And I know this because historically I know people who fucked him before he was a millionaire. That's what I'm telling you. This is before he was a major star, before when he was just starting out and we just doing like shows at First Avenue for like, $20. He was still banging hot chicks every night. And do you want to know why? He's a black dude. He was banging white bras. I mean, he's a pretty boy. That helps, sure. But he's not like he's not like a 10 out of 10 attractive dude. He's a Chad. Attitude, personality, his skill on the guitar, singing, things you have control over were what made him attractive to women. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That
No, but this is the issue with that, and we're in a fundamentally different environment from the 1980s that we are today. And do you know who Lindy Man is? Have you ever heard of Lindy Man?
it's Paul Scholes. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Scalise. So I love Paul Scalise. His Twitter is amazing. Any of you guys like follow him on Twitter? He's amazing. So he came out with this article. It was like sometime last year that I thought was really interesting. So have you read his article on refinement culture?
No, I don't read any articles because I'm not stupid or gay. All articles and studies,
Fucking read.
all articles and studies are gay and for dumb people. They're pointless and waste of time. You want to live your life, you need to stop reading shit on the internet and get out there and start riding. Reading is not perfect. Reading books is normal. Reading articles? What? I'm gonna read some article on like the fucking New York Post. Oh, some guy wrote in his basement. Fuck off. If I'm gonna read something, I'm gonna read a book and it's gonna be good. And no studies either. No studies.
At this point, Substack is like the new Stoa. That's just like, if you're gonna get something kind of intelligent, that's gonna be kind of the place where you're gonna do it online.
No, you're
So
not.
he
If
wrote
you want to get
this
something intelligent
article,
online, you go to tvch.moe, you go into /dunk/TV, and you read some hot takes from Yakuza about how he leave forever. That's how you get smart. That's how you're smart.
Yeah, 9,000 threads on who's your waifu? Oh, everyone, Emma Watson.
No, Emma Watson is specifically banned on my site because of Zach. Do you know who Zachary Keith Hasbrook is?
I've heard you mention him at some point.
So, my man! You need to go onto Alex. Oh, you're echoing a little bit. Let me. You turn down your gain.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Let me see if I can actually just change the.
Just go into Discord settings and change sound output. It's user settings, voice and video, and then change output device.
Fuck, it's just that it's actually the. Here, you know what? I'm gonna do this.
Also, everyone in the
What
chat
about
was asking for Collins. We will get Collins. That's better. Yeah, I can't hear myself anymore.
Okay, all right. So you can't hear yourself. Yeah. So what was I even talking about? Yeah. So he wrote this article called "Refinement Culture," and basically, so at this point, we live in a really unique time in history because we have access to data and data analysis, unlike any other point in history. I think that a good example of this is Friends. Did you ever watch Friends?
No, because I'm not stupid. What do you think? I'm a woman? I'm gonna watch Friends. Oh, I'm gonna sit here and watch Friends with my friend. Oh, I just like Friends. No, I'm not stupid or gay or a woman. So no, I did not watch Friends.
I won't take that as a personal attack. I love Friends. But okay, so if you go back, even shows like Frasier, I think are a really good example of this as well. So usually these shows would have like hunk of the week. You'd have like hunk of the week who would show up, and whatever female cast member is there would be wooed by this guy.
Sure.
So if you look at this like hunk of the week phenomenon, a lot of these guys were like bald. A lot of them had obvious bald spots. Some of them were short. Some of them, their faces were not as square, or sometimes they had really weak recessed chins. And the thing is that when you watch the show, you're like, they're almost made out to be like this Chad super god. The thing was that at the time, that was true. But the thing is now that we have so much data and just the availability of different faces, we've been able to really hone in on what is attractive. So these standards from the 80s that it was like, well, you know, this guy's tall and he's got a good job, but he's bald, that was good enough. Now through this process of increasing refinement, that no longer is good enough.
I disagree.
You can see this process in things like basketball, for example. So anyone that follows basketball has known that there's been a major change in how the game is played over the last like 20, 30 years. Where before you used to have a lot more variability, but now the game has basically devolved into two metagame strategies, which are
Well, that's
the
all
three-pointer.
sports. That's all sports
then
have devolved in
afterwards-
metagaming. Even UFC and like boxing is like that, where essentially it's like maybe you compare boxing today to boxing back like with like Mike Tyson era, where it was like totally like there was a total different like level of gamesmanship, a total level of variety. It's kind of like chess, where like we're solving these sports to the point where like, oh, there's only like one or two strategies to win. You know, we've
It's the
beaten
one
the
or two
game.
strategies.
We've beaten the game, but attractiveness is not that. I don't think that's not a true statement, because to me, right now, the most attractive man in the world that exists today is Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Right? Would you agree with that? That he's like the biggest movie star in the world, probably the most famous man in the world, the most attractive man in the world, right? You would agree with that, right?
I would say that he's probably the trinity, is in that he has the three top things, which would be in the right proportion. So look, money, and status. Like
Yeah.
the guy is 6'5", he's a fucking Hulk, and then also he's just a charisma machine.
And he's
everything
got
that
money and he's famous, yeah, because he's got it all. And here's the deal: he built that all up from the ground himself. When he was, you look at his life story. He would say one time he was homeless. He had $7 in his pocket. He got kicked out of all the football teams. You know, before he was a wrestler, he was down on his luck, and he made it, bro. He made it. But more importantly, with The Rock, is that actually what you're describing is that what he would describe as a typical good look for most girls is not what he has. Okay, he's bald. He's got a weird thumb-shaped face. Okay, he's got weird eyes. He's kind of like a weird mixed race, like mulatto Samoan dude. Like, he's not like what would be described as a conventionally attractive man, despite his like giant fucking muscles and huge height and size. Especially when he was back in the Fed, back in WWF in the '90s, when he was just kind of like when he wasn't shredded as much. He was just kind of like a, you know, he was still jacked.
I mean, he was built at the time. He was built at the time. Like, now it's different because standards have changed because steroids are just been more prolific.
Well,
than
now
they
it's
were
changed because he wants to become like a fucking monster superhero movie star. He's got to get movie star physique like Arnold did in the '80s. You know, that's what he wants to be. But back in the Fed days, back when he like '97 or whatever, '98, when he was debuting, he had a very, you know, not like crazy shredded physique. He was jacked, but he was like, you know, it's a normal. He was like a normal like athletic dude. You know, now he's insane. But the point is that The Rock is bald and got a weird thumb-shaped face, not a typical normal face structure for attractiveness, right? He's not a 10 out of 10 dude without his height and jack in looks, but it doesn't matter. And he became famous all on his charisma. All of it was because of his charisma, because there was a ton of guys who were better looking and better jacked than him in the wrestling world at that time, but he became the most successful wrestler probably of all time, we could argue, in terms of money draw, because of his charisma. That's why.
So I kind of want to backpedal a little bit to what it is that we were talking about, sports and gaming. So if you want to think about like all human interactions as some kind of game, you have like a win state and a lose state.
I don't.
But that's really what it is. Like, that's
I
what
don't
it is that
believe
we
that.
have. For example, if you're in a situation where you're like, I want to have a mate or I want to have a girlfriend, there's a win state, which is have a girlfriend, and then there's a lose state, which is not have a girlfriend. And then afterwards, there's
No,
the
there's
optimization.
other lose states. I can say there's other lose states. There's have a psycho girlfriend. There's a girlfriend who kills your kids. There's a girlfriend who beats
And
you
now
up
we're
every
changing
day.
the goalpost. Our goal is simply have a girlfriend. Then based on that, we can optimize. So just like basketball, where we basically solve these, we have a puzzle where it's like, we need to get this ball into a hoop. We need to do that in the most consistent and efficient way possible. So just because of things like data analytics at this point, it's allowed us to really, even something stupid like basketball, like I said, it's just literally just throw ball in hoop. That has been optimized to such a point that basically every game plays out.
You want to know a lose state for not having a girl between? Here's another lose state for having a girl. Having a girl who steals your bike. That's a lose state. I've been in that lose state. It sucks. Having a girl who falsely accuses you of rape. That's a lose state. I know people who've been in that lose state. Having a girl who divorces. Having a girl who divorces you. Having a girl who goes transsexual after dating you because you were so bad at sex. I have a friend who that happened to. That's a lose state in my mind. There's plenty of lose states.
That's a fucking brutal black pill. But I'm saying within the confines of a predetermined game where you're just like...
It was not a black girl who stole my bike, by the way. It was a white girl. So just no racist in the chat. No racism.
Watching you. So... yeah, like when you have these clear lose and fail states, you basically open up yourself to optimization. Have you ever played a card game before, like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or something?
Oh, I've actually been getting really into Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, I've got a pretty good it's a banned deck, but I've got do you play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Bro, I've played Yu-Gi-Oh since I was like 10 years old.
Dude, same. I've got have you ever done the Butterfly Dagger Elma Gearfried Iron Knight Exodia deck with Royal Magical Library? You ever do that deck?
We're fucking going back. We're literally going back in time almost 20 years. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, the SEK. You just keep on playing Butterfly Dagger Elma, and then afterwards it falls off, and you put a counter, draw a card, and then you go.
Yes, and then you fucking get the infinite draw, and then you draw all of your Exodia pieces, and you win. Yeah, I'm so sad that they banned like all the fun stuff like that from the game. I'm actually gonna do a little surprise here. There's some new stuff I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna be doing some Yu-Gi-Oh streams. I'm gonna do some live real deck. Like, you know, you can do Duel Links or whatever nowadays, which I'm not super into because I like actually having the cards. I don't know, I got autism about it. But I'm gonna do some virtual Yu-Gi-Oh dueling call-in stuff, so that'll be fun when I do that.
Oh, it's super fun. I played for the longest time, and I played competitively. So the thing is, I think that one of like the biggest kind of weird things for people when they first jump into Yu-Gi-Oh. So you play as a kid, and you basically have a bunch of random cards. You put a deck together, and then you just play whatever, right? You're like, I have like 3 Gravekeepers, and I guess I have Necro Valley. So then we're playing Gravekeepers.
Oh, I've got a friend who's got a crazy Gravekeeper burn deck. Like, I think it's the actual greatest deck I've ever seen constructed in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like every time you do anything, you have to pay him like 5,000, like 1,000 life points. It's crazy. Like anytime you send a card to the graveyard, 1,000 life points. Anytime you draw a card, you pay 500 life points. It's a crazy fucking burn deck. You know, if you're still around the board or something, I'll have to show it to you when I open up the new shit. But it's crazy. But
Absolutely, I would play because, like I said, I love Yu-Gi-Oh. I've been playing it for a long time. But then this is one of the issues when you get.
what
to
I like about I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say what I like about Yu-Gi-Oh a lot is that like you said, you can start off with a deck with anything and it works. And it's one of the reasons I don't like Magic as much, or like the Pokemon card game, or even like the Digimon TCG. Is that basically anytime you play in that, you're rolling the dice whether you're going to get something that's going to be actually useful in your deck. Whereas basically any Yu-Gi-Oh card can work in any other Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and it can get slotted in and you can have some use for it. Because like, there's no mana pools or mana stuff like that, you're not constructing like a red deck or a green Yu-Gi-Oh deck. You're just constructing a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. You know, so every time you buy a booster pack, you're basically guaranteed to get at least one card you can throw in your deck and it'll be useful in some manner. Which is
So
something.
this is the issue because that's what you would think going in. Like as a casual player, you look at cards and you're like, "Hey man, this is really good. This seems good. I'm gonna put a deck together." It's like I have this burn deck.
Yeah.
But when you actually get into the meta game, like for example, that deck that you were talking about, the Magical Royal Library, that
can't
right
play it,
now,
it's banned.
not just that it's banned, but it's actually bad because there are hand traps now. There are hand traps that are going to stall. They're going to just absolutely. Everyone's playing 15 different hand traps. It's going to stop your FTK, and then afterwards they're just going to literally OTK you on the next turn.
Yeah.
It's just actually a bad deck right now, and that's what it is that I want to talk about card games with. Like, games are open to optimization. You go into the game and you put a pile of stuff together, and you're like, "Hey, this is fun." But then you go and you take it to a tournament, and the other player is playing Zodiac. And they just like shit on you on turn 1. They're like, "Oh, I summon, pay, summon. All right, negate. Your turn." And then you have like one card in hand, and there's nothing you could have done.
Yeah, it does suck. But I will say this: with that, is that what's why you don't play tournaments? Honestly, that's how it's. If you're playing like a high level competitive stuff for any kind of game, like Smash Bros or fighting games, if you're playing at the highest level, you're not having fun. But that's why they have like structured tournaments. They have like locals you can go to, or like you can just play with your friends. You know. Like, that's why you do stuff like that. That's why you, like, build up and you work your way up. That's why, like, you know, basketball, yeah, like, on, like, the professional level, it's, like, all metagame. But you can go out and you can play basketball on the street with some dudes, and you'll have a good time and have fun, because it's not, you know, it's not about, like, being, like, a hyper metagame when you're playing, like, locally with, like, just for fun. But the whole point of, like, competitive, like, tournaments, like, they, like, have, like, the top level of it. And honestly, it becomes boring. It's why I don't like, you know, pro hockey, but I like college hockey. Because college hockey, like, the skill level is overall a little bit lower. Because of that, the game gets a bit more exciting because there's more fun with it. There's just ways to go. There's other ways to, like, you know, have fun with it. And there's, like, different levels that you compete at. Like, if you're not competing for, like... And here's my argument. I'll go back to the incel shit. If you're not competing to be, like, a top movie star or, like, a top, like, politician, or even politicians aren't, like, looks, but, like, you know, like, a top famous person, generally speaking, you can get by and have a good time and have a good life doing stuff on a casual level. Right? Like, you don't have to play competitively. You can just play casually and still have a good time.
This is the issue with that kind of like worldview, because the problem is that when you look at this from a woman's perspective and the biological perspective, the game that we're playing is literally life and death. The
Sure.
ability to reproduce is life and death. If you don't reproduce, your father, your mother, and everyone behind you is dead.
Right. And if
Yeah.
you reproduce with a bad mate, then you're fucking up the rest of your life then.
You're also fucked. So the thing is, in any game, this is why I brought up the card game thing, because I think it's like a really good example of the problem of over optimization, where basically wherever you have a game that has a win state and a fail state, that's open to optimization. So eventually you have these metagames that develop that they're established strategies and they're also overwhelmingly powerful. So trying to do things that are different or trying to do things outside of the metagame is generally going to be unsuccessful.
Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the thing why because here's the deal. That implies that there's a singular condition and a singular there's a singular win condition here, which there is in terms of getting a girlfriend. But the thing is, you're wrong. Because there's actually like 3.5 billion win conditions here. Because there's 3.5 billion women. You're not getting like women are all different, right? Like, I mean, you understand that, right? And their win conditions are different on a per woman basis. Like the win condition to get one girl is to be completely different to another girl. And some women are not win conditions; they're lose conditions. You may stumble into a lose condition by dating someone, right? This is my. I mean, like, listen, like dating some girl who like doesn't use the internet and like lives on a farm somewhere, completely different way to win her heart than me like finding some e-girl or some shit, right? There's
No, I agree with you. I think that's 100% accurate, and I think that's one of the biggest problems that we have today. Which that's why I kind of wanted to divide this into like sections. Because I do
but
want to
they're all
come back to
connected.
that.
They're all connected, is what I'm saying. Like, especially right here, like there is no win condition that you can optimize for universally, is what I'm saying. There is no universal win condition.
You have to think about this from the perspective of evolution and the evolutionary win.
But we are not on a regular evolutionary basis. We're on an evolutionary basis where we don't have a natural predator, and where our society has kind of let us bypass evolution in a lot of ways, right? We're not above evolution, but we haven't really like. What's the last like 3,000 years of human history? Then is it not us defeating evolution? Is that not what we have done as a society, as a human, as a species?
So basically, you have the environment, which can put environmental evolutionary pressure, where you have people that die off. But then there's a second evolutionary force, which is the evolutionary force of sexual selection. So the thing is, because we've mostly done away with like dying from disease and dying from environmental factors, at this point, sexual selection has basically become the one evolutionary force. And there's no escaping this, because every time that a woman decides to have sex with someone, or a couple has a child, that is sexual selection, the sexual selection process.
Okay, here's the deal.
Because there's a clear win and lose state, but I haven't finished my argument. Like, because there's a clear win and lose state, it's open to optimization. And what I'm saying is, if you decide that you're going to go to this tournament of life, the deck of random cards, you're not going to do well. You have to optimize. And that's what the black pill is about. The black pill is about optimizing yourself, knowing what is wrong with you, and then trying to improve those factors in order to improve your life. Because even like you said before, where you're aware that there are certain aspects of what you look like that are weak, and I know that there are certain aspects about what I look like that's weak. Like, I'm fucking bald. That's something that's difficult, and it doesn't mean that it's the end and that it's over for me.
No, it's not, because look at Vin Diesel, look at The Rock. They're bald. Look at them. Triple H, wrestling. They're bald. Walter White, Jesse Pinkman, famous men who are bald. Girls like bald is in. Bald's stylish right now, man. You'll be fine.
So the thing is that these things are not, we can't look at black pill as like a deterministic fact, like something that it's like, hey, if you don't make this this check, you lose. It's like a statistical reality. It's like, hey man, you do have something that's off about you, so we're going to roll a dice, and you're going to have just one more lose state when you roll.
Okay.
So the black pill is about optimizing your potential wins by making yourself better. So if you're out of shape, you need to lose weight.
Well, that's just something you should do. But, okay, I would counter that, is that I don't think you should be losing weight. Or, I think you should be losing weight. Yes, you should be losing weight, but you shouldn't be doing it to get girls. You shouldn't be living a healthy lifestyle to reproduce. That should not be your purpose of getting a healthy lifestyle. It should be to improve yourself for yourself. It should not be for some abstract goal that's going to be, if you don't ever achieve it, you're just going to get depressed and you're going to be beating yourself up. The end goal of being healthy and fit is to be healthy and fit. It's for that sake that you're doing these things, because we live in a, like you said, we live in a society where environmental factors aren't as much of an issue, and we also live in a society where there's lots of unhealthy food, and living a natural lifestyle is unhealthy in modern America. Like, eating stuff that would be considered normal portions, doing a normal job in America right now makes you unhealthy and overweight, as evidenced by the fact that a majority of Americans are overweight. So because of that, you need to counteract and say, how can I live as long as possible and be happy? Right? And the answer to that is to be healthy and be fit. You should not be going to the gym and eating healthy to get laid. If you're doing that, you're just going to set yourself up for disaster, and you'll never commit, and you'll never succeed in that. I would say that's why I have to counter that. Going back though to what you said, like I said, I don't think there is a universal win condition. I don't think that having children is the only win condition. I mean, it is, but that's not a win. The win condition is not just having kids, it's having kids with the right woman. That's the win condition. The win condition is not having kids or reproducing. The win condition is reproducing with the right person, right? And that's something that we as men, we're kind of desperate, we're lonely, we're incels, we get it. We've kind of given up on finding the right woman. We finding any woman is what we're thinking about. But if you think like that, you're going to fail, like I said before. So, counter argument, the win condition is different for you than it is for me. Your win condition is entirely different than my win condition. So, you can't optimize for it on a black pill level. You can only... you are given some losing hands. Everyone has a different hand dealt to them in life. Not everyone's going to be successful or funny or cool like me, or, intelligent like you or whatever else. I don't know what you have going for in your life.
I'm retarded. I'm fucking retarded,
Yeah.
dude.
No, I looked on. I went to the incels website and. So I had to register for an account, and I just thought, that's going to put me on an FBI watch list. So I thought I'd be really retarded to sign up for an account on a site like this. So that's why I haven't.
Can neither confirm nor deny any allegations. I'm probably in a list at this point. But the thing being is, I don't
I'm on a
really
list.
disagree with you, because I do think that personal happiness in the end is really important, and I think that's what the white pill is about being able to accept yourself to a certain, at least on a fundamental level, about who it is that you are.
Well, I don't
and
have the
being
white pill. I
able
take
to
the
make
brown
the
pill,
best of the
matey.
situation.
I take the brown pill.
That FDA approved? That doesn't...
Take the brown pill, matey. It's a tough pill to swallow. The brown pill was invented in 1996 by Sir Reginald Brownpill.
What is the brown pill? I'm afraid to even ask what the fuck the brown pill
It's a fucking
is.
old 8chan meme that I think TV invented it, actually. I forget it was TV or Int. It's one of those two. But, yeah, it's an old TV meme. It's an old 8chan meme. It gets posted a lot. There's a video of a guy eating a turd with it on there. He's the brown pill.
Brown pill is brutal.
We gotta stop talking about all these pills. All this pill shit is gay. It's fucking pointless. Like, no offense. Like, it's hard for me to, like, talk about, like, the black pill or white pill or brown pill. Because, like, it's fucking... taking, like, there's, like, no universal approach to self-help that'll help you individually. You have to, like, determine what you need for yourself. You can't, there's general things you can do, like, being healthy and stop thinking stupid shit. And if you're depressed, you need to, decide to not be depressed in your head mentally to counteract it. But I don't know, it's pointless.
I kind of want to ask you, because I think that this is, your worldview is a little bit interesting here. So, like, let's say that, talk about goals and fail and end state. So what do you want out of your life?
What do I want? Well, it's not much to ask for. All I want is a tall, of age, attractive, with big tits, nice face woman who will take care of me and will provide for my every need while I do nothing to satisfy her. That's all I want, really. No, all I care about is I would like 4 kids, and I would like someone who can talk to me, who isn't boring, and is like I can have an interesting conversation with for the rest of my life.
These are women. I mean, are you going to be gay? Are you going to have children with a man?
Well,
like you're having...
Listen, I agree. I've not found an interesting woman yet. That's a fact. I mean, maybe I have. I don't know. I have to figure that out. But there's going to be an interesting woman. There has to be. There's someone who has to be interesting and also is okay with me having some radical political beliefs. Like I don't need her to agree with me. Yeah, autism.
Jewish or gay.
Autism girl would be nice. Actually, I would like an autistic girlfriend. That'd be nice. Maybe talk about anime and shit with. That'd be fun.
Okay, so that's what it is that you want to do. So at this point, it's like you said at the beginning that you're like, there are certain factors about your life that it is that you need to improve in order to be able to reach a state. Because if you were able to reach it now, you just be
I can reach it
there at the
now
moment.
if I wanted to.
So
I just haven't.
What would you say impede you then?
What? I just don't. I'm just not doing it. I'm lazy. I haven't gone out there and done anything with it. So yeah, I'm just lazy about it. If I wanted to, if I put some effort into it, I'm sure I could figure it out. Like I go to like Yu-Gi-Oh card tournaments, go to more anime cons and stuff. I find more girls there. Start hanging around less crazy, fucking internet sides of the internet, like more like general anime sites and stuff. I can find girls that way. There's things I could do, but I'm just lazy and I don't want to put the effort in to find someone. I'm just not putting the effort in partially because I've been fucked up mentally for like the last 5 to 10 years, and I haven't really like a good state to be like I don't know if I want to put my bullshit on someone, but in general, like I don't know. If I want to, I can go out and get it, but I just haven't.
So there's
and so
kind of
could
like
you. You could too.
I mean, this is not from lack of trying. The thing that
Well,
I
you're
kind of
putting-
differ with a lot of other incels is that I at least have some modicum of like social skills. Like I'm not completely socially retarded. I do have a normal social life. I have friends.
Yeah.
That doesn't fundamentally change what is going on with me. It never has. Like I've had lots of friends. I've thrown parties. I've been in parties, but that doesn't fundamentally change what it is makes you attractive as a person.
Sure.
Those things don't.
That just gives you more options. You're just putting yourself out there. You're just rolling the dice more then, essentially.
Rolling the dice, essentially, and that will give you a larger pool of potential successes, but that doesn't mean that it is that you're going to make it, because there might be certain things that are just stacked against you. So this is what I wanted to kind of like get to, is that in order for you to be able to achieve something,
Well, what
you
things
need to
are you
know
talking about? Like are you
your
like physically
your end
disabled?
state. Like, actually, I was physically disabled for about a year and a half, and it was recently. I was in a wheelchair. And it
That
was really
sucks.
fucking brutal. Oh, it was
That
horrible,
sucks.
dude.
Okay, then yeah, then I think that's a legitimate concern. But like permanently physically disabled, like are you like are you like Hot Wheels tier, where like you're like a fucking like Hot Wheels got laid in a wheelchair. I mean, no offense to he did. Consider that he had a fucking like Filipino
I'm
wife.
fucking mogged. Getting mogged by Hot Wheels is not where I want to be in life.
Yeah, well, they don't have to be. Like, I mean, you're not. Are you in the wheelchair now?
Oh, I'm out. I did some I don't want to get too deep into it, but I had to go into some experimental therapies, and it
Okay.
worked out for me.
Okay, then good.
It
Then
was,
you don't have
it
to.
was it was really no, it was something that I dealt with at the time. But in order for you to be able to reach whatever end state that you want, like for example, you said you want a girlfriend. Hey, I would love a family.
I
No,
love a
I don't
family
want
too,
some woman.
actually.
Yeah, I just want a family, dude. I want to be a dad. Like I'm not into this whole shallow thing. I'm not looking for a girl with giant tits or whatever.
That
I
was a
just wanna have
joke.
a
That
normal
was
family.
that was a joke. By the way, I'm not sure if you could tell there's sarcasm in my voice when I said that. Like, I don't.
I felt it. I'm lowering my standards to the basest possible where it's like you are a biological woman and you
Well,
are of age. And we have something in
age.
common at least. You're
No.
of age. That has to be clear, Mr.
Listen.
FBI or NSA person who follows me.
Here's the deal, and I'll give you this advice. If you're lowering your standards that much, you're lowering your personal standards too. That means that basically makes you think that's all that you are worth personally. And I'm going to say this. This may sound, maybe this is bad advice, but in my personal opinion, you should not lower your standards that far to just being a biological woman. Because that's really, is that what you want? Because guess what? You could hook up with a fucking psycho woman who could kill you. And she's a biological woman, right? You need to have standards based on things that are reasonable. Reasonable standards are not unexpected, and actually having them will improve your ability to find a girl because you'll be able to narrow
This is the
down.
thing.
You'll
Even the
narrow
psycho
down.
woman who's gonna murder me still won't date me.
She
And that's
prob-
just
yeah, probably because you're not looking for her. Here's the reason why.
I'm not
okay?
looking for her. I have to
'Cause
work
you're-
up to her too.
Because if you just see her as a mother in a sack of meat, she's not gonna respect you or love you back, right? Like you're not gonna, if that's all you see her as, just a thing to like produce children, then guess what? You're never gonna get laid. You're never gonna get you're never gonna get into a real relationship with someone if all you see them as is a bag of meat and a fucking way to have kids and a family, right? That's not what this is about. Okay, here's the deal. It's like the Netflix problem you said before, right? If you have the Netflix problem with women, because let me tell you, we have it with women too, whether we like to admit or not. We do have the same problem. We're like, there's so many choices, right? Well, then you have to narrow down what you want. You have to go by genre. You want a white woman, right? I'm assuming, or you want Asian, you want black. What do you want? What do you want out of life? Who do you want? Like, I want a white girlfriend. That's what I would like. I've made that decision mentally. Do you
Hell, I
want?
know.
Do you want someone who is autistic? Do you want someone who shares your interests? Do you want someone who you can communicate with? Someone who is funny? Someone who isn't funny? Someone who laughs at you? Someone who will hold you back? There's tons of things you need to be thinking about when you're choosing someone. And if you start choosing, guess what? You'll narrow down the list and you'll find someone. And guess what? It'll be a shorter list of people you're dealing with, but there'll be a shorter list of people who you actually want to, and you'll actually pursue, and you'll put more effort into.
So the issue, the thing is that like if you look at people who are like really sexually successful, no one is
That's not going
interested
to be
in
you.
their.
So you can't look
No,
at them because that's not going to be because they have a different way of
No,
looking.
no, but the thing is that we are playing the same game. It's
No.
like we're both on the basketball court at the same time. So hear me out on this. Hear me out on this.
Different game.
When
Because you're talking
Jeremy,
about
when
sexual
Jeremy Meeks was found in prison, they found that headshot of his where he looks like a fucking supermodel. Okay, so this guy, he basically fell into millionaire status just because he was good looking. No one ever said, "Hey, you were involved in some kind of felony. You're some kind of violent felon." He just kind of fell into a situation, and he ended up having like 4 kids. There was never any look into Jeremy Meeks' personality, what it is he thinks about women, what any of these different things that happened that were negative. It just happened to him because he's attractive. So this
Sure.
idea that women can like sense your like misogynistic internet history, or they know your thoughts about what you think about their flesh or whatever, that it's some kind of
But you'll
like,
reflect
thing
it in
that
your
completely
behavior.
cuts you off.
But you'll
They
reflect it in
reflect
your
their
you'll reflect it in
Jeremy
your behavior
Meeks-
how you treat them, with how you treat people. Like
But
that, you'll reflect it in
these,
how.
these guys like Jeremy Meek, they don't have to treat anyone like anything. They can treat women
Yeah,
like
but
trash.
they've been dealt a different hand.
They are the
You
selective.
don't have that hand, so deal with the hand you've been dealt. Like, I don't know. Like, what else do you want me to say? Like, yeah, Jeremy Meeks. Guess what? Here's the deal. There are girls who are way into psycho dudes. So there are plenty of girls who are into murderers and serial killers. That's like their fetish. That's what they like and what they're into, right? That's something that they're into.
That's the thing. That's what they're civilian.
Yes, that's a thing. And also there are guys who are into it too. It's called yandere. It's a little bit different, but similar mindset. So it's just.
I don't anime. That sounds like an anime thing. I'm a straight.
Why aren't you
heterosexual
watching
man.
anime? If you're an incel, why are you not watching anime? What else? What's the point?
I stand against the evils of anime.
Well, what's the
can't do it.
point? Like,
so much
I post
hope,
on
dude.
incels.is, but I don't watch anime.
And
What are you
Now I'm above
expecting?
it. That says something about you. Okay, that says something about all. I can't do anime, man. Like to me, it's just like a huge cope. People who
What's
make
a
anime
cope?
have never
It's
met.
a show.
They've
It's a
never met.
television show.
They have never met.
What
an
about
actual-
anime is better? You watch Frasier and Friends, right? So what about like, fucking
I'm a high tier
Lucky Star and
individual.
What about Nichijou or Lucky Star is any different than Friends? Just another
what the
sitcom.
fuck that is.
It's like the same
know what the
shit.
fuck that is.
Well, maybe you should watch some anime. Maybe life would make you feel better. Maybe you should.
Oh, that's when I'll roll.
What are your
That's when we
interests?
do
Like, what
them.
do you like to do? Like on a general day? I mean, you like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So, did you watch the Yu-Gi-Oh anime?
Actually, I never watched it.
You
I
didn't
got
watch
constant.
it. Oh, you
No.
need to watch the Yu-Gi-Oh show, dude. If you haven't,
I-
you need to watch the 4Kids dub. Okay, you need to watch the 4Kids dub of the original Yu-Gi-Oh show. When he pulls the cards, my deck has no pathetic cards, Kaiba, but it does contain this Exodia. That's a Kino moment, and you need to have that in your life to make your life
Watched
better.
a little bit of the first season, but like GX and stuff like that. Like I really
Oh,
wasn't
fuck
into it.
GX. Fuck GX. You mean you want
Oh,
to watch
I'll-
watch the actual Yu-Gi-Oh that was written by the actual Kazuka Takahashi. Don't watch GX or 5Ds. Although GX later seasons get pretty good, but fuck GX. You don't want GX. You want Yu-Gi-Oh.
I never. I
You want
watched it
Battle
when I was
City.
young.
You want the Egyptian god. You want Merrick like torturing some people with the Egyptian god cards. That's what you want.
So lost. I don't know. I don't know what any of that is. Like I really don't. I don't like anime. Like I said, it's just like think about what's that show with the girl with the big tits? What's that called? Like Mizuki
Which
Chan or
one?
something?
There can be so. Uzaki
The one.
Chan. Uzaki Chan.
Zaki Chan. Yeah. Okay. So my friend got me to watch that, and I actually sat down and watched it, and it was like the most bizarre thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Well,
It was like a
Uzaki-chan's
man that horrible. She's like a sociopath. Okay. She's a complete and total sociopath. But when you watch the show, it's like this really weird, cutesy thing where he's being like psychologically tortured, and it's like, oh, it's cool because she has huge tits, and it's like to me, these people have never met a woman in their life.
I think
just
wasn't
shows.
Uzaki Chan written by a girl? I'm not even joking. I think it might have.
Psycho. So the
Uzaki
women,
Chan wants to
one of
hang
those
out.
women that's a loose state. Yeah.
Uzaki Chan wants to hang out.
Is this a woman?
Artist.
BTFO if it is. Written by Take. I don't.
It doesn't have a. I think it's a
pseudonym.
it's a pseudonym, so it could be a woman or a man. It doesn't really matter. But here's the deal.
It could be.
Okay, listen, man. With anime, I mean, Uzaki-chan's probably not a good one to start you off on. Maybe you should watch like Yu-Gi-Oh or like Cowboy Bebop or like some like generic
I mean,
like.
Cowboy Bebop at this point isn't even anime. Like it's
Yeah,
just
it is.
like
It is an anime. What are you talking about?
Transcended.
That's like
It's
saying,
Dragon Ball Z.
you
No,
know,
it's transcended. It's transcended the way that it's
Frasier really
just
isn't a
like,
television show at this point. It's more like a way of life.
I wouldn't disagree with that, honestly.
Fuck you.
Frasier's-
I don't know.
You're gonna say? Are you gonna tell me that when
Is
someone says, "Oh, I like
Jumanji
anime,"
even a
what's your
movie?
favorite anime? Dragon Ball Z? You're like you're a subhuman. What your favorite anime is? Dragon Ball Z?
No, Dragon Ball Z is a fine
Naruto?
anime to like. Well, Naruto's bad. I
You
mean,
gotta
I would
respect-
judge you. That's like if
respect
someone's
some-
okay. If someone told you their favorite movies was the Marvel films, would you not
The Oogie
judge them?
Bars.
Would you not judge them for being a lesser person for liking that shit? You know, it's the same thing with
Violent,
anime.
yeah.
It's the same thing with anime. Like you just, there's some good stuff and there's some bad stuff. You just gotta find something. I'm not trying to convert you to anime. I'm just saying, in general, you
Yo,
should
I-
develop hobbies and interests, and that'll make you more
No, I have a
attractive.
ton of hobbies. So one thing right now that I'm like really big into, I'm like really into the board game space, so like modern board games and stuff. And I'm with a bunch of different groups. I have a bunch of different friends that
Yeah.
operate this. I have like 4 or 5 different groups that I play with, and I also go to conventions and stuff. So,
Oh.
like I said, I'm
Oh.
a pretty socially active person.
Yeah, you'll be
Like,
fine
I'm not
then.
some, like,
Just
weird
find some
recluse.
fucking board game autism girlfriend then. Just go find that.
I want to talk about that right now.
Why not? Or did you get your heart broken? Did you get rejected, bro? Hey, listen,
Anyway.
here's the deal. At least you tried. I've never even been rejected. I've never asked a girl out in my entire life. You know?
Really?
I've never asked. No, I never bothered. Because I haven't found anyone
Have
that
you
I've like
ever-
been interested in.
Have you ever had any kind of like any romantic moment in your life?
Um,
Anything?
One time a girl stole my bike. Because I was like trying to like ask her out. There was a couple times that I've like been like with girls that, like oh am I gonna find something, and yeah, every time that's happened, you know, oh they stole my bike, or they did some terrible stupid shit to me, or oh they tried to commit suicide and they blamed it on me, some shit like that, you know. It's just crazy bitches, man. Yeah, some crazy bitches.
So let me ask you this question: as someone who hasn't experienced these things that basically are considered like milestones of life, do you
I
feel
don't.
that this might have affected your psychological development anyway, for
No.
the better or for the worse?
Well, actually, here's the deal. Okay, so every time I've encountered a girl in life, it's actually made me psychologically a lot worse. By like, cause I don't know why I seek out crazy bitches. I just do. But I seek out these crazy bitches and they fuck my life up. So psychologically, I'd be better off if I never even tried with girls at all, ever. So no, I don't. I mean, I don't think me not dating or something makes me psychologically worse, no, or me not having sex makes me psychologically worse. It doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter because I'm based.
It's like-
I'm a Chad and I'll do whatever the fuck I want. And girls don't need me and I don't need them.
I think that's cope. That's strong cope. Because like we are wired, and even though we all say fuck women, women are shit. Here we are talking for how much? For like 2 hours about women.
No,
We
I'm
give
not.
a
Here's the deal.
shit about-
You think you're talking about women. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about society. I'm talking about how great I am and how little I
live
need
in
them.
society.
I'm actually talking about the Chinese here. This is the whole point. Is the main point going back here is that it's the Chinese government trying to psyop and propagandize you into accepting less. You are accepting less in your life because they are black pilling you. You are taking this. The black pill is actually the yellow pill. The Chinese government made it up to make us more weak and subjective cattle, so they can come in and roll through us and steamroll us and destroy us as a country.
So the thing is that the Chinese actually have the short end of the stick when it comes to like black pill stuff. Like if you're a rice cell, it's over.
Doesn't
It's
matter.
almost
It
assuredly
literally
over.
does not matter because China as the country is going to rule the world in the next 5 to 10 years. That's like saying, I don't know, I don't even know comparison, like historically, maybe like the Mongolians. These Mongolians have been rice pills. The rice cell Mongolians, they're not going to win as they're conquering your town. As they're raping your woman, as they are literally indoctrinating
Thunder
you.
Chads,
Listen,
fucking
do you
Mongol
know
killing your
what
women.
the fucking Chinese are doing right now, just like the Uyghurs in the death camps right now? Like, I'm not joking. They were replacing their husbands with Chinese men who like fuck and breed their wives. Like, they are straight up like doing Mongolian tier shit to people in their own country right now, and they will do that to us. They're gonna do that. They're gonna take you out back, shoot you in the head, and they're gonna fuck your sister and they're gonna fuck your wife, and that's gonna happen.
The thing is that China, I think, is a bit of a paper tiger because then Elon Musk actually did a really interesting talk about
Fuck
this.
Elon Musk. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's destroying my fucking portfolio. Outside of him literally wrecking me with fucking retard coin constantly. I hate fucking shit, bro. Anyways, off of Doge. I'm gonna have like a fucking stroke. So one of the things that he talks about is that we're basically on this like cataclysmic depopulation apocalypse that's on the horizon. And China is going to have the worst of it. So within the next 100 years, China's low birth rate, you can see their population fall by half in the next 100 years.
Sure.
And this is absolutely catastrophic. Like,
Well, the thing
nothing-
is that
even the
Chinese-
Black Death killed that many people. It killed 1/3 of all Europeans. So this idea that China is going to come in and become this new huge empire and rule, it's like they are on the brink of populational collapse. As are we, by the way. So we have a birth replacement rate right now of like, I think it's like 1.13 for whites.
I don't know. Well, here's the deal. With the Chinese, and just like hear me on this, okay? Their depopulation was state mandated. It was not enforced because of some, whatever social issues. They mandated by law that you only have one child. There was a one-child policy in China for many years. That's gone now. That is gone because they realized the threat that depopulation faces them. That being said, it doesn't matter what their population is because they are going to literally buy the rest of the world. They are buying Africa. The entire African continent will be purchased and owned by the Chinese government. All right? They will have the force and the authority and the propaganda to force down and make us all become slaves to them. Okay? They are doing that now. Why do you think every single Hollywood movie is half produced in China? Because so they can control them, and so that you can't question them. You cannot question the Chinese government. They're one of the few governments in the world that you cannot legitimately question, despite the atrocities they commit every day. They have severe power over all of us. They are not on the short end of the stick of anything. They have they're not the smartest people in the world. They don't have like this crazy fucking plan. Sure, maybe they fucked up a little bit with their population shit. In the end, they are on the path right now to conquer the world. They are going to. Look what they did with the fucking Corona shit. They just pumped out a fucking virus that shut down the entire world for an entire year. That's something that they did. Regardless if it was made in a virus, it was a result of that it spreading the way it did. It was a result of their inaction.
Listening. I agree with you that they are putting themselves in an advantageous position because they basically figured out the metagame that market economies and open liberal governments have a major weakness
Yeah.
in that all of their actors have to work within the confines of whatever authoritarian power. So, like, okay, here in the West, we have this really cucked idea that everyone can just do kind of whatever it is that they want, and we're all just free agents, man.
We are.
The thing,
I can do whatever I want to anyone at any time because I'm the best.
but for companies, it doesn't make sense for us because, like, so we have this issue right now with companies that basically have to completely build all of their products and all of their processes in order to meet the demands of the Chinese government. Because the Chinese government says, hey, if you don't cuck to us on every single level, you're going to miss out on our 1.5 million consumers.
Yeah.
Billion consumers.
Yes.
So they've gamed the market and they have a metagame strategy that is really powerful. And you know why the United States is now descendant? Because we refuse to adapt to the metagame.
Yes.
Metagame is you make other countries respect your government, and you don't let foreign propaganda invade your country.
And you put foreign propaganda in other countries. But yeah, here's the deal.
That's the metagame.
That's the metagame. They're better at the metagame, and I can recognize that. I also don't like it, and I think we should fight back against it. That's what I'm saying. We don't have to accept
our
it.
own.
We-
I think that and
but
this
it-
is going to be controversial. It's successful, man. Like the Chinese system is successful for
It
a
is
reason.
successful. It is successful for a reason. But here's the deal: we don't have to accept their success. We can stop them by simply not agreeing and not subjecting ourselves and not submitting to their will and their propaganda. We are not immune to propaganda, but we can rise above it. Is what I'm saying.
So think about it like this. Let's say that you're a CEO and you have a fiduciary duty to your shareholders, right? So
I'm not.
You say, okay.
I'm not.
We are, because this is a very important discussion here. We're top philosophers. You know, we're people of power. So let's say that we're a CEO, and we're like the CEO of Valve or whatever. And then, actually, no, Valve's not a good example because they're a private organization. Let's say something like Microsoft. You're like the CEO of Microsoft. You have a fiduciary duty to your shareholders. And then you tell them, you know what? Fuck China. We're just not going to do business with them. Suddenly your revenue drops by like 40% because you lost access to the market.
Yep.
It's unsustainable. There's
Well,
no
on a
way
business
for
level,
you
yeah,
as an
but on a
individual company
personal
to
level,
say no to China.
There's something you can do. You cannot support Chinese products on a personal level. And every time you see
Almost
Chinese, you can
impossible.
insult them for being Chinese.
It's almost impossible to avoid Chinese products because, like, even things like that say "Made in America" will have products sourced from China. So it says "Made in America" on it, but all the base materials
Yeah,
come from China.
sure, that's fine. Just what you need to do is just stop. All you can do on a personal level is stop them, and also directly attack the Chinese government through propagandizing your own and insulting them directly. And also, I don't want to get too hot for YouTube here, so I'm not going to say what I really think you should do to the Chinese people and government. I'm not going to tell you what you really should be doing to them. And I say the Chinese people because guess what? The Chinese people are complicit in the actions of their government, in my personal opinion. Because even though they live in an authoritarian state and they've got a controlling government, guess what? It exists and is propped up by the Chinese people's complacency in it. So they are complicit and complacent in their
I mean,
in the
it's like
actions of their
that's like a
government.
weird thing because it's like then 9/11 is like our fault because we'd been invading the Middle East and
It
fucking
is.
with their for like.
Well, 9/11 was literally the result of George Bush. He actually did 9/11. So yeah.
Can neither confirm nor deny that. But going off of the base theory of why 9/11 happened and the theories and at least the reasons that were promulgated
agree
by
with that.
Osama bin Laden, it's just like, so are the people that died on 9/11, are they at fault? It's like, no, man, they're just innocent bystanders. Like,
Yep.
our government did fucked up things and then we got retaliation for it, and both of those things are wrong. No one has to be in the right.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
our
gonna say
government
that,
existing is a
I mean,
result of us accepting them and not overthrowing them. And the Chinese government's existence is a result of them not overthrowing their government. So I would say that, yeah, everyone who was on the plane 9/11, it was their fault that they were there. They bought the ticket. It was their fault they were on the plane. Let's not kid ourselves.
Mr. FBI NSA person who follows me, I do not agree with these sentiments.
Well, they don't
Disavow
care. They caused
strongly.
9/11. They're all for it. FBI and the NSA were definitely involved in the planning in 9/11. For sure, the NSA were definitely involved in the planning in 9/11. Like, they were fucking definitely behind it.
But kind of the point that I was trying to make with all that is that, so this idea that we as individuals can kind of make our own strategy and their personal decisions are going to have
Yes.
an impact on the
Yes.
wider international order, I don't think it's a thing. Because,
do.
like, at this point, we're so integrated with China and so coupled that there's no way to, like, for example, in the board game space, almost every single board game is made in China.
Sure.
Literally almost every single one. The United States doesn't even have the production capacity right now to make board games because there's this whole like shipping thing that's going on with like the shipping rates have like tripled for the last year. And while companies are trying to move over to the United States, They literally can't because we just don't even have the capacity because we don't have a manufacturing base anymore.
No, we don't.
So even if we wanted to like move away from China and decouple, it's like we have.
You know
we
who
don't
does
have
though?
The history here to do
You know
it.
who does have the manufacturing capacity though? Not China. Besides them, you know who else does? Mexico. So we should conquer Mexico and take their plants.
Or we could just create
Hot
our own
Latina
manufacturing
GFs for us all. We'll go down. We'll conquer like the conquistadors. That's all I'm saying. Like I never was into the wall shit
Goblina
with
for
Dup.
each man.
I'm not saying that we should the wall shit with Dup was stupid. We should have conquered Mexico. We should have annexed them essentially and made them a state, like multiple states of the United States. It would have been a better. We would have had a better life. Like the rest of our lives would be better if we did that. Personally, I genuinely believe that. And you know,
That's like being cancer free and then being, you know what would be really good? I'm going to surgically attach this tumor to my brain. I feel that this will make things better.
No,
like
Mexico is
Mexico
good.
is almost
Mexico's
like
entire
basically a failed narco state at this point.
Yes, it is, and we can unfail it. Because okay, first of all, we already have the tumor because all of the funds that Mexico needs funds come out of our country, and they've like fund the Mexican government. It comes from our country through wire transfers because of illegal immigration, right? So let's just say this: if all these illegal immigrants want to come to America, let's just bring America to them. We can shut down the cartels. We can just take them to town with the U.S. military, right? We can take over the state. We'll gain all their production capacity, all their workers, all their people who stay behind, all their crazy, super highly Catholic, pretty religious people who would be good voter base. Honestly, you get all of them in on board with this, and guess what? You got a better country. I'm just pitching. I'm just saying.
I'm kind of iffy on even California being a state, and I don't want to add
Mexico
more.
is better than California in every way.
Oh God, I don't. Have
It
you been to
is.
Mexico?
Yeah,
Place is a shithole, man.
place is a shithole.
Place is-
You're right.
It's not. It's a fucking shithole.
But it's a shithole because
even wanna
all
go
the
there on
people
vacation.
left it. All the good people, all the people who would work in there left. If we annex Mexico, all the people who like live up here would move down there again because it's home.
The thing is that like a lot of the poor people, so Mexico loves illegal immigration because all the people that come over here are basically problem people. They're poor or criminals or whatever, and for them, from their perspective, it's like, hey, it works out. It's like we got rid of all these people that go to the United States, they deal with them. We don't have to be. It's like a poverty valve.
Well, all I'm saying is I think it would be a better solution than what we have now. I think it'd be a good idea. This is completely off topic though. We should talk more about.
Oh, it was. So I kind of wanted to get back into like, so one thing when I originally was kind of pitching this was that I wanted to talk about like the modern environment and how it is that it kind of affects how it is that we interact with each other and what are some potential solutions. Because I think we can both agree here that there are some systemic issues with the dating market and how it's working and how it's negatively affecting mostly men at the moment. But I also think it negatively affects women over the long run.
It does negatively affect women, yeah, as well as men. I don't think it affects. I don't think it's positive for anyone. Especially, I think, like I said before, as a result of abortion and birth control and divorce. It's really easy and cheap for like guys to like come in and pump and dump. Like you say, they pump and dump people. That's like the natural inclination. I think because there's no
free
consequence.
riders.
There's no consequence of it. It basically makes half the dating pool a bunch of retards that most girls don't even want to date. So you're fucked. So it's bad for everyone. It's just not a good situation.
So there's this really interesting study that I had just read a little while ago that was talking about. So basically, they were investigating what is the role of women's sexual regrets in their future decision making. I thought that it was really interesting because the conclusion that they came to was like has a lot of wider implications for society. So basically, what the study was, what they did is that they asked women who had negative sexual, like bad sexual experiences and regrets, what their future. Like it was a longitudinal study. So they'd have these women with these negative interactions in dating, and then they'd see what would happen in the future. So let me ask you this. If a woman let's say that she has a short-term sexual encounter and it goes negatively for her, what would you think that woman would do in the future?
I don't know. Depends on the woman. Depends on what happened with the sexual encounter. Depends on who it was with.
Logically, like let's say you have a short-term fling and it goes badly. What would be like the logical thing to do?
I don't know. I never had sex. I don't even know what that means. Why are you asking me? Like, I don't actually have a good answer for this question.
So,
like genuinely, I don't know. I don't know what the response to that would be if I go I hook up with a girl and it's like terrible and she like fucks me up mentally. It's like I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. Like I don't know. Maybe if I'm desperate, I'll like jump right on another girl right away. Sometimes I'll do something else. I don't actually know.
So the correct answer at some point would be, don't do that again. because it was a bad thing that happened to you. You don't want it to happen again. So what you would think would happen is
Well,
that a
what was
woman
the
that's had a lot of negative short-term sexual experiences, you think she'd go towards more long-term marriages that are more fulfilling emotionally.
Well, it
and
depends. I
sexually.
mean, actually, well, the problem with sex and like stuff like that is that it's not a logical thing that people decide. It's not like something that
No,
you
it's
plan
not.
out.
It's not logical.
It's not. It's emotional based. So actually, when you're hurt and you're damaged by something, you actually will seek out other people for like comfort even quickly. Like usually with a girl, like, that's why there's even I think it's a rebound stuff. You know, you come in on the rebound if like some guy fucking up a girl, whatever, or whatever the fuck, and be doing that like generally like you actually get some success with that because the girls are emotionally needy and you can be there to comfort them, and that can be a thing you can do. So here's the deal: guys and girls will oftentimes, once they get fucked over, I don't know, guys will sometimes react by like going out and partying, like doing a lot of shit. But like if a girl's like got a bad hookup one night, she may go out and get another hookup the next night because that's something that she's
So
trying to
that's-
emotionally scar and cover up what she went through because she needs
this
comfort.
is the interesting thing that these scientists found. They basically found that women that have these short-term flings and are filled with regret about them, they actually tend to have more of them. So this kind of raised this really interesting question, basically, of like, why is it that women would feel regret in the first place over something that they continue to do? Logically, you'd think if regret has some
They're
kind
not
of like
thinking logically.
evolutionary
It's not something
purpose,
that the answer is right there, that it's not logical, and that
it's not
nothing
logical.
and nothing in dating is logical, and that's something that's tough for like autism people to understand, and something like me or like you to understand, that there's nothing actually logical about what happens in a dating relationship at all. It's emotional and whatever. It's anything but logical. So
The thing is that it's not logical in the sense of like abstract logic, but when you get down into the biological logic of like why does cheating happen, it's like from a logical perspective, you're like, we're happy, we're good, but the reality is it's like, hey, you know what? There's like the coolant effect, for example, where men get tired of having sex with the same woman, and this biological process leads to more cheating. So it's like, yeah, like logically speaking, it's like we're fine, but at a biological level, there's some kind of contradiction that we're trying to work through here. The thing about the study that I thought was the most pertinent to like the modern problem of dating is that they basically found that there's kind of an evolutionary mismatch right now because they're like it doesn't make evolutionary sense for women to feel regret and then at the same time to continue pursuing these like short-term sexual relationships. So basically the conclusion of the study was it's like, hey, the dating environment that we have now is some kind of evolutionary maladaptive environment.
sure.
There's something fundamentally wrong with the way it is that we currently date. And I think that's something important to consider for incels and other black-pilled individuals is that this current market that exists right now is absolutely not natural. Not natural for one-third of men to be virgins. It's not natural
Right.
for the
Well,
birth
I
rate
mean,
to plummet down to 1.
if we talk about cheating, if a third of men are virgins, what does that mean? That like, what the other 60, like if however many percentage of like what women, then it's like how many of the guys are cheating then? I mean, like shit. Like if it's only like 60% of if only like 70% or like whatever 60% of the guys who are having sex in this group, I mean, like what that would mean, that would have to mean mathematically that almost every woman who's having sex is either doing it for hookups or they're getting cheated on by their boyfriends, right? Like that's
this
got to
is-
be happening
It's
mathematically.
like so let me say this. I guess I should be a little bit more clear with that 30%. It's males under 30.
Yeah.
So when you look at males under 30 at this point, this is like a completely different like dating framework because really this whole like dating thing and boyfriend and girlfriend in the traditional sense is not really a thing. Relationships are a lot more fluid right now in the sense that it's casual, there's not necessarily commitment, and you could be dating multiple people at the same time, which is something that would have been really frowned upon just like 40 years ago.
It'd be frowned upon
That's what I'm
10 years
saying.
ago, honestly. I don't think it's that. I think it was frowned upon fucking 10 years ago. I would say it was frowned upon, like, even, like, 15 years ago. Like, when I was growing up, that wasn't a normal thing. My parents never did that. I don't know anyone who did that normally. It's very much a modern result of internet age shit, of smartphone, social
It's
media,
the
internet
metagame.
age shit. But it's not.
It's literally just the metagame.
It's not the metagame.
like
There's
what-
no metagaming here, bro. This is not
Oh,
Smash doing wave dashing on Melee going, I'm metagaming. I'm metagaming you
can't
by
get
doing the
away from
Korean
it.
backdash. No, there's
You
no.
can't get out of it. There's no escaping it, bro.
There is.
Whenever there is a
You can just
game,
decide
and
to not
there's a win
metagame.
and a fail state.
Do you want to know how you can?
Then
You want to know how
lose.
you can escape
You lose,
metagaming?
bro.
You can turn on items in Smash Brothers, and that will escape metagaming instantly. Every metagamer will leave the room, and you will have fun. Or put on like a non-tournament legal stage, and you will escape the metagame. So here's the deal: you got to use items. So you got to bring out the Pokeballs. Here's items. The equivalent of items in Smash to turn off the metagaming is autism. You need to go to these autistic girls. You need to find them. You need to court them instead, because guess
Or
what?
lesbians. They're all lesbians.
They're
now.
not
They're
lesbians.
lesbian or some kind of granny or something.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just like,
you gotta
it's
find
pointless,
the ones who aren't that, man. You gotta fucking, I don't know. This is like I get like it's bad for people, but like the answer is that yes, a lot of girls do hookups. Here's the deal: girls who are into hookups are gonna keep doing hookups, right? But hookups and like dating are very different things. And what we're looking for is not hookups, unless you're looking for hookups and you're not getting them. That's just your fault for being a retard. No offense. But if you're looking for like dating like a woman and a family, like yeah, it's a different dating scene than like, especially I don't even know how old you're. I'm assuming you're like 30s or late 20s or something. You're not in college, I'm assuming, anymore. You're out of college and in the workforce.
I'm done. I graduated from college, so
right. So you're out of the college scene and stuff, which is very hookup heavy. Especially like more people will do it then. So you're in the adult dating scene, which is different. It's different than the teenager whatever fucking shit. So you got different rules. You have different expectations. You just gotta live by those instead.
So like. Dating in your 30s is definitely different than trying to date in your 20s, because at that point you have the biological clock ticking. So a woman becomes, and even men, like this happens to us as well. You become very aware that it's like, hey, my fertility cycle is about to close, and if I don't get someone literally right now, then it's basically over. So at that point, that's where you have women that start caring about some of those other factors like money and status, because you can provide for children. So
sure.
It changes. It no longer becomes about I like you, you like me, because the reality is it's like, hey, I'm about to die and everyone behind me is about to die as well, so I have to really maximize my opportunities for reproduction here.
Sure.
So it's like, even in those situations, you're even more metagaming when you get older, because when you're young, you can just, you can have teenage love. You just are interested in someone, it's more freeform. You don't have the cynicism that's built up over multiple relationships.
Sure. So what you need to do is you need to have a job that pays well, and you need to, have traits that would make you a good father. I guess that's what you need then, right? Like, so I don't know how that's so hard to achieve, personally.
Having a job and being in a good position?
Having a job is not a difficult thing to achieve, and you should have a job as a man no matter what, because men should not have jobs. Women cannot have jobs in my mind and be okay and be mentally okay, but if you're a man who doesn't have a job, you are mentally fucked. Like, you're gonna fuck yourself mentally if you're 16 home. And I respect and love my NEET brothers out there, and I appreciate you, but I want all, and you can't stay a NEET forever. You can't be in NEET mode forever for the rest of your life, in my opinion. This is more talking to the chat than you, because I'm assuming you're not a NEET. But for the NEETs out there, bros, I respect you. I respect the lifestyle. I respect the hustle. But you can be a NEET and like not live with your parents and shit too. So
I disagree. Chat, if you are a NEET, you are a conscientious objector to the system. Okay, you're saying fuck you, because this is the reality.
I am saying I get that. But here's the deal. For you personally, I think being a NEET mentally fucks with you, and like it makes you like miserable inside.
It does, but you're already, the fact that you're a NEET is not a cause, it's a symptom. Basically completely and totally alienated from the greater system, and it's basically you saying fuck you, I'm going to do my own thing and I don't care. I'm not going to support society, because so this actually leads back to what we were saying about like the structure that exists now. Feminism as a whole requires men to be complicit in order to be able to exist, because feminism can only exist through the violence of the state. Abortion laws are mandated by the state. Alimony, child support, no-fault divorce, all of these different devices that are basically used to prop up feminism require the consent of men. Because when you look at the overall structure of who pays for taxes, it's almost exclusively men. Women are net tax negatives. So the only way that the current system can propagate itself is if every single man works above their necessary productivity in order to give into the system. It's basically roasty bucks. Like, if you're working, you are providing roasty bucks.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. My counter argument to that is that I guess on a macro level, you're objecting to whatever, but here's the deal. On a personal level, when you are what is best for you personally, yeah, you exist in a fuck system. I mean, yeah, sure, that's fine. I get it. You don't want to be part of that. As a human being, as a man, what you're doing on a day-to-day life basis kind of thing, you need, in my mind, to have a job to stay mentally sane. If you don't, you are fucking yourself up mentally, and that's not. I can't, in good conscience, tell you to live an unhealthy lifestyle, right? I can't tell you, oh yeah, it's great to do drugs, because it objects to this shit. No, not working makes you fucking insane. It drives you insane, and you need to, even if it's just a little job, even it's not even about the money, it's not about the working, it's about getting out and doing something every day productive. It's about being productive every day. So if you're an artist and you don't, or whatever, if you're working on your stuff every day, Monday to Friday, on a set schedule, you are fine. If you're not on a set schedule, if you're not on like a regular like a lifestyle that you're like living like you're productive, then you're gonna go fucking crazy and you're gonna be miserable. And yes, it's good to object and be opposed to the things that are terrible in the world, but if it's gonna make you a miserable person, I don't think it's worth it. I do not think it's worth it to make your life miserable in order to object to what you perceive as injustices. I just don't think it is.
There's that macro micro division where basically it's like it's bad for the system if men like, and I don't agree with MGTOW because I think it's really cucked to a certain degree where you're just saying like I'm just gonna walk away. It's like that doesn't really solve anything. But I'm saying like from the perspective of I hate the current system and I want it to blow up. People that are NEETs, it's like you're doing God's work, just doing God's work. Because the system requires you to go out and work every day and pay taxes, and if you don't, then Roasty can't have sex with Chad and Tyrone. That's just the reality. So even though I agree with you that yeah, on the individual level, those things are not good. At the macro level, it's like it fucks them.
It doesn't. I don't think that matters too much, honestly. I think that's really irrelevant. Personally, I don't give a shit about who's fucking who. That isn't me. I just don't care. It's not my life. I don't give a shit. What does matter, though, is if you want to blow up the system, there's a very simple and easy way to do it. It's called blowing up the system. You can just blow it up. There's ways you can do that. I'm not saying, like, what you should do specifically. I'm not saying what you should specifically, but, stop. Like, what fucking Gandhi said. And you could talk about nonviolent violence. Gandhi said if he had nukes, he would have nuked the British. It's about what you have. Gandhi would have done that, but he said that the most effective.
That in 5?
No, that's something he has an actual quote of him, like in like a historical record that he did say that. He said if we had nuclear weapons, we would have nuked the British. But he knew that the best and most effective way to get what he want was nonviolent protest. Sure, I get that. I'm not saying advocating for violence or whatever, but generally, if you think things are fucked in your life, you can change it. For yourself and for your life. I don't think you should concern yourself with like these macro shit because frankly, the world is fucked enough. I think the world is not only fucked, it's also permanently fucked, and it's on a trajectory course that we cannot change course on it without, there's no way we can fix it in my mind. So
the dialectic will continue, and
there's no point. So I would say if you're doing, there's no point in conscientiously objecting to it. You should just make your own personal life as successful and happy as possible within the family system. Because guess what? The world is going to collapse in the next 20 to 30 years. And when that time comes, I would hope you would have been working so you save up enough guns and money and ammo to survive it. How about that?
100%. And this goes back to the theme we're saying about just the societal structure that's basically unsustainable. So the reality is, for everyone who's black-pilled by what's going on in the world and basically the complete collapse of the family unit, it's like these things are inherently unsustainable. They require the state, and the state is just no longer able to manage this because people are checking out of the system, and our government is basically just folding to China. Eventually, at some point, this whole gravy train, this like modern decadence, is going to fall apart. Fortunately, we'll probably be a lot older, and we're not going to be able to, enjoy the fruits of that. But I think that
it'll fall apart. Yeah, I'll make it fall apart. I'm gonna make it fall apart. Yeah, I'm gonna make it fall apart.
This really cool guy. His name is Uncle Ted, and he's got this really great book.
No,
give
fuck.
it a read. It's called
Kaczynski. He's a pussy.
No, Kaczynski was based and red-pilled.
Who gives a shit? Okay, let's. I think we've talked long enough. No offense. I think we've got some good stuff talking out. Is there anything else you want to bring up before you open the call lines at all?
Let me look through my autistic list of things I wanted to talk about.
Sorry to everyone who's been trying to call in or whatever. I know people want to, but it just sucks.
We covered basically a little bit out of.
Are you still in the Discord server? Because we could just move over there because there's some people in the calls like land waiting right now. If you want to just.
Okay, so how would that work? Would I jump in?
Yeah, you just jump in and we'll all jump into the call there and we'll just shit post.
Here, could you put the I got out of the Discord because I didn't want to get nuked. Just in case.
This one's not gonna get nuked. Don't worry.
Okay, so I'm gonna join the Discord and then afterwards I'll join the chat.
Okay, just join.
So I guess I'll get off. All right, yeah. I'll get off Discord.
Okay. I'm just gonna go in the voice chat over there now, so I'll just hop over, okay, man?
I'm hopping over.
Texas, he ran over there.
Hello.
Oh God.
We're all on the air now. Welcome
Oh,
to
hey,
the
Cool.
the open fucking call in now. How's it going, guys?
Oh,
We've
fucking
been
We've been
right.
waiting
talking about
fucking an
cool
hour and a half, and we've just been bullshitting. So I don't even know what's
Holy
happening.
shit.
Hey, who's the guy that you were talking to? Who is it here?
He's an
Yeah, who is
incel. He's an incel.
Yeah, which one is
Yeah.
it here?
I'm the
Is he in here?
ambassador.
He's right there. He's
Which
that
one
guy.
of the guys?
Commissar is right here. This guy. Right here.
Commissar.
Awesome.
I see.
Commissar, you know what? Being an incel, you're lower than Chris Chan. Even Chris Chan never identified as an incel.
Why would
We're on
you?
the
Here's
Discord
my
channel
question.
of the
Why would
fucking
you?
king of the incels?
Yeah. Why?
What are
why
you
would
saying?
you identify? Why would you self-identify as that? Like in an unironic
You know-
fashion.
What you gotta
Okay.
do, you gotta take the pink pill, buddy. You gotta take an HRT,
Oh!
take the pink pill.
That's
Is
the
this,
only
is
way.
this like one of those tranny Discord servers? Am I getting groomed right now?
I'm
mean
dead
like-
serious.
I feel I'm
If
getting
you start,
groomed.
if you
Use it
start
and-
taking
Talking about
HRT,
pink pills.
if you start taking HRT, you will become you'll have so much awesome sex. Your Tinder's gonna blow up.
Aw, that's runs.
Bro,
Okay,
I go
my,
into
you're
Discord
gonna
server
be like
now and I'm already
kinda-
dealing with trannies.
Listen,
You can,
So
go
what-
from,
what
you
is-
can go from a
this is-
manlet
What
to
is
like
this
a
guy's
fem
prerogative
chat.
then? What makes like why are you calling yourself involuntarily and celibate unironically? What's going on, big guy?
I mean, I'm.
I mean, we're both.
Not you,
on the same
Gahul.
page
Nobody
here.
cares about you. I'm talking about this guy.
Hey,
We're
fuck
both
you! This
saying
is
the
my
same
show,
thing.
you buddy. You
What are you
motherfucker.
fucking saying?
You're our ogre king. It's a little different. You're royal.
You guys are
Yeah.
watching a
I'm
show
the
by the
king
guy who calls himself the king of the incels. What are you fucking
He is,
talking
but
about?
he's our,
Ghoul
he's
doesn't
our
embody
lord.
the
Okay, he's
incel
different.
mentality. It's more of a
Gahul-
showman thing.
Gahul is different because he's like an internet person. We don't, he's
Showmanship.
different. He's not a real person. We're
Listen,
talking.
I'm the leader of the incels. I'm
to
gonna guide every incel out of inceldom to the promised land. That's my goal.
the
We're-
promise. Absolutely. So what is
And if
your?
I have to be an
what is
incel
your
for life
nature
to save the
malfunction?
other incels, I will do it. That's a cross
He
I
will
will bear.
sacrifice himself.
I'm an
upon the
unwilling
incel.
incel.
It's not a-
I'm an
It's not a very worthy
involuntary
cause.
incel. I'm an incel. Double incel.
Double.
Okay, so what was the question?
Why is this? Why are you calling yourself an incel?
Well, incel is just a state of being. If you're a virgin and you don't want to be, you're an incel. It doesn't have to do with what it is that you self-identify or whatever. you want.
That's from
Oh,
a
but
definition
that's what an
point of
incel
view.
is.
That's from a definitional
There's a-
point of view.
there's a
but why are you
difference between,
calling
like,
yourself that?
There's a difference between like being an incel and like literally being an involuntary celibate, and like there is an identity of being an incel online that is separate.
Yeah,
from...
but those are two things that are separate. There's the
Okay,
online
but you
community
are
of people
coming
that are
on.
But you're
incels.
calling yourself the second one. We're
Calling
asking you-
yourself an incel. So why are you calling yourself?
Why are you
an
calling
incel?
yourself
Why
the
are you
second
saying-
one, the online, but the
Yeah.
online community? Why are you part of the online incel community? Is what he's asking.
Okay, I think that's actually a fair question. So the thing is that there are a lot of people that are incel and they don't know that they're incel. So that's the first category, which is the definitional one. Then there's
Just
the
like
second
most
category where
people.
you have the online community. So basically, you have a lot of like-minded people that are meeting together to discuss, whatever. Like
Maybe
you guys
they
go on
should stop
TV
meeting
Chan, right?
together to discuss. Maybe that's
You
the
know,
problem. If you're getting
I mean,
together,
you guys
in
are
groups,
on
talking
TV
to other
Chan.
people who aren't having sex about how you're not having sex.
Listen,
Maybe that's your problem.
I want to know about this. So you get on a call with all of these other incels, and what do you talk about? Like,
Oh, none of them get on voice
conversation.
No one gets on voice chat. I'm like the only person who gets on voice chat.
Oh my god.
So what do you type
I'm the
about?
bravest of the incel. That's why I'm here. I'm in the den of lions.
Commissar,
I'm
listen.
being
what's
assaulted
your
by
problem right now?
cads,
Commissar,
left and
are you-
right, attacked,
hold on.
assault in every corner.
Commissar, are
Listen.
you old enough
Next
to drink?
question.
Are you old enough
Yeah,
to drink alcohol?
Dude, I'm old enough to be your fucking dad. Next
Okay,
question.
okay. Go to a bar. It doesn't have to be a nice bar.
Next
Go to a
question.
town- No. I'm gonna solve your issue. Go to a towny bar and take home a last call bar hoe. Okay, you're in every
I'm
bar.
not gonna be your
You don't
stepfather.
even, they
I'm
have
not
the
gonna be your
lowest
stepfather.
standard, and you cannot be fucking picky. All right,
Commissar, can I ask
then
you
you
a
are a
question?
vault cell.
Can I ask you a question?
All right, which
How-
is the question?
How tall are you? And are you white?
Yeah.
He's 5'6" and he's bald, and I think he is white.
He's
Okay,
bold.
so I'm,
Why are you
I'm-
bold?
Listen to me.
Why am I bald?
I,
Why are you bold? Yeah, dude.
Let's
Like,
talk about this. Why am I bald?
listen.
dude, you're
Wow.
not 36. You shouldn't be bold. Why are you bold?
I don't know, man. I made a wrong decision. I went down the wrong path in life. Maybe I should have gone to college. I wouldn't be bald.
I'm arguing, but you got dealt a
That's
rough
why
hand.
you're an incel, dude. You gotta lift weights. Otherwise, you look weird.
I'm on fucking roids.
You're on roids? Well, you have to lift
absolutely, I'm on
weights. You
test.
can't just be on roids.
I never thought of that.
Bro,
This is like the fucking Stoa here. We got a group of the brightest philosophers from TV Chan here.
You're the one who's calling.
Why am I
These
called?
guys don't even
Come
post on
man.
TV, Chen. That's the funny thing. These are all some fucking Twitter.
These
like,
are an
just-
elite class of human we're dealing with.
Well, it
here.
is. Honestly, the TV Chan are the elite men of the world. They are. We are the.
I don't even. What is your TV chans? I went there and I was like, this is horrible. This site.
Hey, fuck you, buddy. My site is
Aw,
good.
That's not true.
Hey, Gahul tries, man.
Why would I not just go to 4chan's TV board? Unironically.
Because 4chan TV, you can't say nigger without getting banned.
Oh, is that true?
Is that real?
Understandable. I take it back.
Lots
I
of
take it
tranny
back.
mods.
listen,
Lots of tranny mods.
So we need to help this ball sack head of a man.
listen, Commissarge, whatever your name is. You got dealt.
I think it's Commissarge.
No one's Commissarge, whatever. You got dealt a rough hand. No one's arguing that. Listen, I'm 5'4" and Asian. I do not have
Oh,
any.
brutal. Brutal right cell.
Listen,
You're a virgin?
you want to know? No, I'm not a virgin. I actually have sex a ton. You want to know why? Because I started taking HRT.
I'm having
Bro, I
Brutal
swear.
pink pill.
Look, dude,
I'm
think
not
about
even-
it. You
I'm not even-
already don't have hair. You just put a wig on anyway, so you
Yeah,
go
no,
all the way.
listen, there's very little that it even did to me. All right.
Well, no,
as
it
an
does,
Asian
no.
guy, I already
But
have
here's the
one
thing:
that's
if
in my
you
blood.
are 5'5" and an Asian man, then it's going to be easier for you to take the pink pill.
No,
Okay.
that's
You have a
not
natural
necessarily true.
advantage.
That was funny, but we are
What
genuinely
is
an
this internet?
anti-pink, anti-transsexual channel here, boys. We do not encourage or support your lifestyle or
I'm
behavior.
trying to-
I don't know. Right now, I'm
Fucking
hearing
yourself.
that I should cut my dick off.
I
Kind
would
of the
never
advice
do
that I'm
Why would
getting.
I
True,
cut my
all
dick
true.
off?
I mean, it
have
worked
so
out well
much
for
sex.
Chris Chan. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
I
By the
can
way,
think of a couple
cool.
reasons why not.
Why
I can
not?
think
I
of a
want to
couple
hear
things
20
as well.
reasons why that's a bad idea.
Yeah, tell us.
Chris gets tons of money.
Give us 20 reasons.
I
Right
mean,
now,
fuck's
what
sake,
is-
Chris
what is-
Chan has Joshua Connor Moon
What's
running
wrong
and
with
managing his finances, and he's getting GoFundMe's to go to conventions. I mean, really, he won in the end, really, if we think about that.
And he's got a bunch of people defending him that never would have defended him before. He's got actually like a following that supports him.
Yeah,
He's
he does
mentally
have,
ill
like,
and this
unironically
He had
Honestly,
no
he's
one
fine.
before. Literally fucking no one other than a few.
100% ends in suicide.
Sure, but he was
Not,
already.
not,
on his
look,
back.
Chris Chan's still around.
No, Christian's never.
No, I'm
gonna
saying he's
kill
around for now.
He's never gonna kill
Chris Chan
himself.
was
Chris
always
Chan's
going to be
never
around
gonna
for
kill
now.
himself.
Like, it was
He's never
always
gonna
his
kill
game.
myself.
That's the,
Chris
That's
Chan will never commit
delusional.
suicide. There's no way.
Even if he was, even if he is, like, you can't say it would have been any different if he hadn't.
Chris
Yeah,
Chan is schizophrenic. Chris Chan is not even on the same like level of reality as the rest of the world.
He lives on the plane where all his favorite TV shows are gonna come into the real world at any moment.
Yeah, I mean that's more on a real plane than you're fucking talking about. I mean, let's be real here.
Okay,
Hey, go
And he's still getting
Okay,
better
So
at
so
it.
far in
Genuinely-
this discussion, we've got to the point of take HRT and follow Chris Chan's example. If you guys have any
Yes,
more brilliant,
literally, yes.
anything else, any other high IQ?
listen, the
takes
call,
on?
you gotta roll with the punches, buddy. Is this what they're gonna? Okay, so seriously though, Nuke, are you actually on HRT or is that a shit post? Like genuinely?
No, it's genuinely real. I'm a 5'4" transsexual.
You don't sound like you're on HRT, man. Your voice is not sounding.
I'm boy
Wait,
moding
which is
right
because he
now.
doesn't sound like it? What's
You
wrong
can,
with that?
you can hear when
Yeah,
someone's
I'm
you
boy
can
moding.
definitely hear when someone's at HRT or
How
on
do you know,
T-Pills.
Gahul? How do you know?
Because my sister's a transsexual, you fucking idiot! My sister's a goddamn tranny. She's a real life tranny, and I know what the voice sounds like.
She is female to male. You don't know what male to females are like.
Her
I'm the
boyfriend
other
is
female. I'm the other
MTF.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry.
her boyfriend is.
I'm
MTF.
sorry. These are open wombs for you, Gahul.
Yeah.
Still
Well, she has
tears
open.
there.
She actually has very open wounds right now. Just barely.
She has
recently open. Recently opened.
Oh no.
It's depressing, man. I'm sorry.
No, but genuinely,
actually wicked
I
fucking
figured you were.
bait.
I figured you were shit posting. That's why I was asking.
But that's the thing, though, Gahul. Think about it. She's having fantastic sex, so we're telling this guy he should do the same thing.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
That-
It worked.
that-
It worked wonders
yeah.
for me.
It's
Let me
working
tell you,
for
I-
her. It's working for So this guy.
Well, she's
maybe
not
it's
having
the right
kids though.
reason.
That's the only problem. Is when you go transsexual, you can't really have kids anymore because you kind of fuck up that part of your body.
Are you gonna have kids, Gahul?
Yeah,
Are you?
absolutely.
We
That's
don't
male
know,
to
right?
female trannies who have children.
I don't know when it's gonna happen. Whether it's someone likes it or not.
You're gonna have a male pregnant bride? Is that your plan?
No, I'm gonna get a
Jimmy?
woman. I'm gonna get a woman pregnant and have kids. It's gonna happen.
Well, I believe it.
TikTok, big
But
guy.
anyways, okay, this is an interview with Commissar. This is his moment to shine. It's his platform on the channel here. So we should ask him the questions. We should be asking him what's going
Yeah,
on.
Commissars.
Okay, so
Have you heard of a
anything
guy-
not involving trannies?
How much
Yeah,
do
have
you
you-
bench? How much do you bench?
How much do you bench?
250, not much.
150?
Like I just
But get on it. Get on it, bro. That's your
250 or
first
150?
thing.
What did you say?
250.
He said
250?
250.
250 is good. That's not bad.
All right.
That's not
That's
bad.
good.
But I mean,
not
for being
bad.
on testosterone, it could be a lot higher. But we just
Yep.
started, so
If
Have
that
you
number
heard of
is
a
not
guy-
to 400 by the end of the month, you're not gonna make it.
I'm pretty happy with it right now, especially for
You
just
need
being
to,
weightlifting
if
for
you're not
like
doing, you need to
6,
get
7 months.
you get that little powder. You get this like the caffeinated powder. You get a little bit of Coke, mix it together, and just do it between sets. Line
That
after
doesn't
line
sound
between
FDA
sets.
approved.
So, Commissar, you
doesn't
said you
sound
were
right.
into board games. What's the best board game to play right now? What's the best one to get into? What should I get into now?
Man, there are so many different things that I could say. It depends really on what it is that you're into. Like if you have a gaming group or if you mostly play by yourself, you can play board games. It's probably the saddest sounding thing. You can play board games by yourself, so you can do. solo games.
I'm partial to
Wow.
Operation myself.
To accept, press 1.
You're scum.
You got a phone call, everyone.
If you
Phone call.
like, if you
Hello,
like
you're on the line.
Operation. Was it someone calling?
That's what you get.
Oh shit! Hi, the new nut.
Hey, what's up, dude?
An
Hey
elite
Google,
kind of.
how does it feel to know that you killed the Data and Denny show?
Did I? Was it actually my fault? No
That
way.
was the last. I had an episode before that, and then you had that episode, and then they killed the whole show. They didn't
know.
want to edit it, and you killed the whole show. Google.
I was like,
fucking
and then
piece of
Data
shit.
quit the internet, and then fucking.
Yep.
I've been asking for them to like, re-release it. I will edit that video for them. I will edit
Yep.
out my naughty bits for
They
them.
won't do it anymore. It was too based in Red Pill.
They were. It's because I turned them against each other. It's because when I was on the show, they were like, "Oh," it's because I made them argue with each other and bitch, and it was like, I fucking hate you now because of Google. It's the best shit.
Well, good job, Google, for killing another internet program.
No problem. 5 pounds of gun, Data and Denny. What's next? Am I gonna take out whatever the fuck new PPP show is gonna come out? Who knows? It'll be everything's gonna die.
If you destroy Cooking with Surfer, we're not gonna have a good time. Okay.
I'm not touching Surfer. I'm not touching.
You
Surfer.
better not touch Cooking with Surfer.
No,
That's some
Surfer.
peanut
I've
stuff
never
right
touched
there.
Surfer. No.
Okay, so it's like 5:30 here. So, anything else about Insuldom or any questions about that? Or
Get a
pretty
few
much-
drinks, get some guys, be a nice guy, go to a
Listen.
bar, lift some weights, look good, get
Listen.
some ass. Simple
And
as.
take HRT.
Don't take HRT.
And
Don't take HRT.
I'm
But
not gonna take
genuinely,
HRT.
people give that advice to a lot of people. They just go out and do stuff, and it's kind of. I get the frustration because especially if you haven't had success, it feels like pointless advice. It's like, oh, just go out, be yourself, go to a bar, but you'll work out. Because
Don't be
Be
yourself.
dude. I never thought
Be
about that.
be
I've always been
peanut.
someone else when I should have been me, who I am.
it's shitty advice.
don't
and
be
and
yourself.
honestly,
It's stupid advice.
picking up
It's
chicks at
the
the
most
bar,
wrong
especially
thing ever.
nowadays, is actually really difficult and it's not easy. There are better ways to meet girls, especially girls if you want to have kids with. My advice to you, if you want to stop
You wanna
being an
have
incel,
kids
if you
with
want to
girls,
actually give it
go
up,
to church.
first of all, quit sign up for incel forums because that's dangerous. Don't give your
No,
email.
that's based and red pilled.
Give your
Okay.
email. to
I don't
Joshua
have any.
Wood.
I'm not going to talk about the people posting
Unless
on
you're on
there.
an FBI watch list, you're not a real man.
If in general,
Nah,
you should
just
not be
be
putting
Jordan
your
Peterson, bro.
bare IP and your email and like an account on anything. You should never register for an account on any of these sites, including like Kiwi Farms. I wouldn't register for a Kiwi Farms account even though I have one. In general, avoid that shit. But
Yeah.
first of all, give up that. Second of all, stop being online so much. Being terminally online makes you insane and makes you not have sex.
Everyone in this chat is like
Yes.
terminally online.
We all are
Already.
terminally online. I'm telling
This
you
is a
that
den of incels giving advice to an incel about how not
Yes!
to
We're
do
not
exactly
incels,
what they
big guy.
It's
Well, you
terminal.
did come to the.
No, this
like,
is fucking pussyslayers.tv.
It is.
in here, I
It
can
is. It
tell.
actually.
Absolutely, it
It's
is,
TV
yeah.
Chad. The CH stands for Chad. It's
Jumping
TV
to-
Chad.
to go.
What
Bro,
do you
fucking
think I'm
like 10
doing
seconds
while
ago,
I'm
I was
watching
like,
TV?
have you
bro?
taken the pink pill?
No, general
fuck
advice,
outta here.
actual genuine advice. Keep hitting those board game chicks up. You gotta keep rolling the dice. You're playing the board game. Roll the dice every turn. There is no end time where you can't be trying, man. Just try with everyone.
If you want a girl to have kids with, go to church. Go to a Mormon church. Go to some weird culty
Yeah, that's a
church.
good
You know
point.
what? Actually, that is the
there.
smartest thing anyone said in the chat. Go to a Mormon
Absolutely,
church.
unironically,
Go to a Mormon
if
church.
you want to have
That's
sex
legit.
with a girl, go to a club. If you want to have kids with a girl, go to some weird culty church. Join, become a Mormon, become some weird crazy religion, because those girls are going to be nice, they're going to be sweet, they're going to treat you right. That's going to be what you want, unironically.
Why? Why are they
going
going to do that?
Why are they going to be that way? Because they're so religiously indoctrinated and protected, and then they rely on you, so you feel that level of protectionism towards them, and you get to provide for them. It's very wholesome, and you don't really get that outside of weird small cults nowadays. So that's why
really
you need
interesting
to.
because you're
why you need
basically
to do
saying that there's something wrong with the greater environment here, and that because that they're sheltered from the greater
Yeah,
environment.
but that doesn't like
basically
okay,
creates-
that's true, but that doesn't change anything. It's like, oh, society, who cares, dude? Like that's how it
We
is.
live in a
Like,
society.
We do. We live in a society, therefore pick up weird culty chicks. That's my advice.
That's some good advice. But here's the deal. Listen, if you're not into weird, listen, as someone who isn't into weird culty chicks, I don't find them attractive. It's the only problem I have. I need like autistic girls who are like into what I'm into. So you got to find something that's good for you, man. And if you want to stop being an incel, but don't be like one of these people who like thinks incel is like this like high end identity that we have to protect or whatever. You don't have being an incel is not a good thing. You can leave it behind. Like anything else online, you don't have to be attached to this identity or the worldview of it. You know, you can live it. You know, bitch about women online. That's fine. Bitch about these whores and these assholes. Move on. Get and find what's good for you personally. That's all you can do.
I mean, I don't disagree with any of that. It just sounds like normal, typical advice. But the thing is
It
that
sounds
that's
like-
exactly
like
what everyone
effort,
does. They
like
just
work.
kind of congregate around whatever it is that they do. For example, like if you're some kind of weird internet racist or whatever,
Yes.
you're not going to be like that in real life, but you go on like 4chan or
I
whatever,
am.
and then you just kind of blow steam off. Yeah, exactly.
I'm an internet racist
So-
in real life.
And I'm an internet misogynist. We're like natural friends.
Jesus Christ.
Go hand in hand.
And you get no
so
pussy. You get no pussy.
Your
Kill
leader.
yourself. You get no
Your leader
pussy.
has-
Kill yourself.
Let me see your fucking pussy juice license, sir. I want to see the fucking molecules of pussy on your penis right now. I want you to take down your pants and show us,
You're
good sir.
asking to see another nigga's dick. That's gay as fuck.
Yeah, there's no such thing as
That's
a
pretty gay.
incel.
That's pretty
That's
gay.
gay.
I can't
That's
lie. I
wicked
can't
gay.
lie.
You be gay.
Hey, if you're saying, hey,
Be
you have
fucking
to
gay,
you have to show up or shut up.
No, you
Show
gotta
up or
be
shut
gay.
up.
If you wanna see people's dicks, you should just be gay. You will.
Aren't you the
stop
guy that
being
was
an
telling me to
incel.
get on TRT to get on HRT?
You
This
should
guy
do
is-
that.
It's just, yeah. This guy's fucking with you, dude. Don't, obviously.
I'm genuinely not.
not
I
fair.
follow
Oh,
all my own
serious.
advice.
Fair enough.
Do you have any real questions of value? Because I thought the discussion we had was pretty high IQ, and this is pretty retarded. Do you have any actual questions?
Oh, listen, man. Listen. In general, people are retarded. So you have to learn and expect people are gonna be retarded and enjoy it. Like this was funny.
Laugh with them.
Yeah.
Anything?
Stop. Take the stick out of your ass, man. You'll have more fun in life.
Yeah, don't be laughed at. Okay, that's what's happening right now. You're being laughed at. Instead, laugh with us.
Oh, I'm good. I'm chill. I'm here with an obviously hostile audience, and I'm totally fine. Like I'm vibing.
We're not hostile.
Dude, what are you even
None but
talking
love
about?
around here. We all love you, dude.
Yeah, we're trying
Okay.
to embrace you.
Anyways, do you have any questions? Like I'll answer legitimate questions.
Have you ever seen a guy called Cyrax on YouTube? His
No,
name's
but I think
Cyrax.
I've vaguely heard of something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Tell me.
I would look at Cyrax. He's had multiple girlfriends live with him. Look at him and tell me how it's possible that you're an incel.
Hey, Gahul, what's your day in the life?
No, this guy is a yellow robot.
Yellow robot.
Yo,
Like in
Gahul.
Mortal Kombat.
No, that's not the Cyrax.
I don't
I'm
know.
talking-
Maybe it depends on what attachments he's got going on. I don't think I could compete. This guy mogs me.
Look up Cyrax Nation and you'll see who it is. You'll see what he looks like.
I should pull him up on stream.
Why don't you get in a
Yeah.
polyamorous
Yeah,
relationship?
cool. Pull it right up.
Like,
Show
just
the
like-
people who Cyrax is.
Be like those guys that were all dating that fat chick. Those four like butt ugly guys. They're all sharing the same fat chick.
I think this is an interesting question.
I gotta pull this up. This is fucking.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Let me see.
Is there
He
a
looks
delay
like
on
an
the
Eldritch
screen?
horror, doesn't he? He looks like literally something out of like a nightmare. And this guy has girlfriends, and they live with him, and they live stream with him.
There's interdimensional lizard. That guy brings up actually a really good point about King of Aspies. Actually, we didn't even end up talking about King of Aspies at all.
Well, he's gonna be streaming
I
later
think
tonight
was-
too. We gotta stop.
Did you see his last video?
Yeah, I saw his last video. I watch all his videos. He's fucking crazy.
That's the guy.
So I thought that was really cool about what he was talking about. So
Not
basically,
even a
like,
bad one.
there's this kind of idea that like if you just have sex, it basically just clears up all of your problems, and that's it. You're just not an incel anymore. But I thought that his last video was like pretty insightful because he's like, not only did he feel not better, but he actually felt actively worse.
Yeah.
After losing his virginity.
That's because hooking up isn't for everyone, and if you're chasing hookups instead of like the actual girls, you're gonna be miserable. If that's not what you want.
Here,
No,
show this.
absolutely. That's the issue. It's just that it's not that just not having sex. It's about having a deep, meaningful relationship. If
Yeah,
you
so-
don't have that deep, meaningful relationship, that you feel like you don't have purpose, especially when you start getting into your 30s. Because if you're 20
I
and
have
you're just kind of
purpose.
fucking around and it's fun, but when you're 30, 35, and you start thinking about like legacy and having a family and
I have
creating a
legacy
future.
already. I have a very powerful legacy. It's my website. And it's also the things I'm gonna do. The things I'm gonna do and enact upon the world will be my legacy.
So I thought that I'm interested in what he's going to do going forward.
Well, I think it's
How
pretty
that's
obvious
gonna
that
go.
it's not about being celibate or having sex. It's about, your life is miserable for a lot of reasons, and you can make yourself less miserable by doing shit. But who gives a fuck? Any other questions from you guys? You guys any questions for this guy? Anything?
I mean, I asked one, but he really didn't
me-
answer it. It's just kind of
Commissar, have you ever seen Road to Perdition?
No, I actually haven't seen Road to Perdition.
So, fun fact about the movie The Road to Perdition. You might not know this, but did you know that it was filmed in Geneva, Illinois? Outside of what is now considered a classic location in downtown Geneva, outside what is now a Starbucks, Tom Hanks was shot in the middle of the street by Jude Law, who was across in the apartment. In what is now a music store, it was the Hotel Geneva scene where Tom Hanks goes to see the accountant for the mob. It's a fun fact you may not have heard of, but it takes place in Geneva, Illinois. Did you know that?
That's a fascinating fact that I have never heard of.
Do you know that, Commissar?
It seems like you've said that fact many times, but that does seem
Yeah.
interesting. Interesting thing to know.
Interesting. It is interesting.
It is.
Insane.
Commissars, do you know about a guy named Jordan Peterson?
Isn't that like Wash Your Penis guy?
Yeah, you should read his books and also start listening to a guy named Negative XP. if you read those books and listen to that music, you will start having sex.
Bro, Negative XP is the fucking Prince Earl Duke of incels, bro. I fucking love Negative XP. Eggman too.
Yeah, but he's
Wow.
probably not an incel though.
Oh, he's 100% an incel.
No, I don't
pretty
think
sure.
so.
Nah, he's
just
5'4" and
profiting
Asian,
off you
just like
guys.
me.
I'm almost positive negative.
He's
XP
on
has
HRT
sex.
as well.
I'm like,
Dude,
actually,
it's like
he
those
might.
country stars. It's like those country stars that like sing songs about rural life and living a humble life, but they live in fucking mansions and they don't live anything close to the life they're singing about.
I guarantee
That-
negative
like,
XP has had sex. I can almost
Yeah.
guarantee it, man. Now that being said, it
That's
could
why
be
you
like
should
King. It
listen
could be
to
like
all of his music.
it could be like King of Aspies, where like he has had sex, but he still is not in a satisfying, happy relationship kind of thing. That's how King of Aspies. He's had sex now, but I would still consider him a pretty much an incel, and everything else.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Eggman, where Eggman was in like a brief relationship for a while, but he just kind of got fucked over, and he's been celibate for like years now.
Eggman gets
So-
wicked pussy, bro. Eggman gets pussy all the time. He's like famous. Well, not famous, but he hangs around like Sam Hyde and shit.
He's like, I guess, status max in his small like little circle, which works out for him, and it's great.
All right,
I'm
a
super happy for
A
Eggman.
big way to start having sex is to stop saying words like status max.
That's a good point. Honestly,
Should start using words like pink pill. That's what.
That's a
real
really
shots
good
say.
way to start having sex, is to start using words like pink pill.
Jesus Christ, this is pathetic.
If you get like a Tinder date and you meet up with the girl and you're like, hey, did you know that I'm like a pink-pilled femme-chad? She'll immediately want to suck your dick.
Be like, I'm a pinky dick twink
She'll
boy.
think it's really cute.
Yeah, they love
It'll
that.
be like her tranny pet, like that, like non-binary, feminist chicks, they get in these polyamory relationships. They always have some pussy guy that has no self-respect and just grooms them into being a tranny. It's like her pet.
Commissars, that could be you.
Yeah, that could be you. That's your solution. She'll probably have sex with you like once.
Hello,
before you
you're on
treat
the air.
surgery.
Hey, yo, it's me again, the guy that said nigger all the time. I'm sorry about that. I actually have something else. What do you think about incels that are sent through VR chat, ERP? Basically, they mount a fucking flashlight to the table and fucking fuck people over VR chat, basically.
What do you think about that?
What's up, man? Welcome to the show, first of all. Oh, could you repeat that again? Like that last part? Because you kind of like went out a little bit.
He's on my speakerphone. He's actually calling into my phone call line, but I have it set up right.
Like your literal phone?
Yeah, my phone.
Do you give people your actual phone number?
No, I've got a.
You know what? Just add me to the
No,
Discord.
he does. His actual
There's a
phone
Discord.
Or
There's
whatever call you're on.
a Discord link in the description.
Here, I'll.
Fuck, wait, you're on there talking? Fuck, okay, let me get in.
Yeah, there's a link in
Let
the
me get
description.
into this shit.
But yes, no, I have a phone call line that I've got. It's not my actual phone number, but it's
Like a Google number or something?
like a Google Voice number. Yeah.
Alright.
Somebody in this chat knows my actual voice number though, my real one.
Are you all like personal friends? Do you all know each other?
I'm like friends with this one.
Yeah, we hang out all the time.
Yeah.
There we go, General.
We hang out in the woods.
Hey, man, what's up?
We wear skull
This is the
masks.
caller.
Let me hang up on you.
Yeah, not already hung up on you. Like,
Hey, what's up, man? So, what was your question?
yeah. So, what do you think about incels, quote unquote, ascending on VR chat, URP? Basically, they go around like fucking with people in private rooms. I know it sounds weird. They have like these models which have like fucking penises on them and shit. And they can take off the clothes and shit. And basically, they mount a flashlight to their fucking table and just fucking rape the shit out of that fucking poor flashlight on the table while like moaning and huffing and puffing in their fucking sweaty VR headset. What do you think about it?
That's a very interesting question. That's a very interesting question. And I'll say this: I've not thought deeply on that. What about you, Gahul? What do you think?
It sounds pretty gay.
I mean, they're probably men, so yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, like,
Yeah, I would say that gay roleplay would probably fall under gay, but I mean that's probably you'd have to get rid of like half of incels.is because that's basically what it is.
Wait, you guys are gay on there? What?
Oh yeah, that's like a big thing. It's just be gay. It's the just be gay
How
pill.
about people on incels are, I guess, they're probably like fucking, glowies. They're fucking low.
Yeah, are you a federal agent? I suppose we should have asked you that up front. Are you a federal agent?
You're all on the list.
Rape isn't traumatic. Nobody actually thinks that.
Oh, did you see? Yeah, because you
I
saw
love rape. Getting raped.
Hey now.
disavow.
Hey, I disavow
Strong
that,
disavow.
actually.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, very
As a
strong
rape
disavow.
victim, I disavow that. Okay, it's
You know,
very
if you want
traumatic.
to stop being an incel, just get raped.
There you go.
Just be raped theory.
Get raped by 40 guys.
Just get raped by 40 guys theory.
You know
High
what's funny?
IQ.
Fucking kids that are raped as a child, even by women, they're more likely to turn out gay. There's been a big study on that.
So there you go.
Yeah,
You're
Hey, here's one way you could help incels. Here's a theory. Now, like, I
It's
gotta
the
tread
theory.
careful ground here, okay? Because I want to
man,
say
we got a bunch
anything
of
legal, but you know
theoretical
that guy
physicists on chat.
that strapped a suicide vest to that guy and made him rob a bank? Somebody could do that with an incel and force
Wait,
him to
isn't
talk
that
to
that
women, or the
guy?
bomb goes off.
Just strap a bomb to your chest theory of dating.
You either talk
No,
to girls or
somebody
you
else-
die. I mean, it works.
You know what? I think that we should save this chat and we should forward it to some sociologists and see if they can do some research on some of these theories. Become a tranny theory, put a bomb on your chest theory, just be raped by 40 men theory. So we can work through these
I mean,
and
those
find
are
a
all
cure to
effective
insult them.
solutions.
I think right
listen,
now
no
we have
offense,
the
like,
most
this
is-
effective
I don't want to
decision
be
going
weird
through.
about this, but to be fair, I do know like some of the, I've seen some of the screen caps from the incel.co or incel.is, and like literally some of the stuff you guys like. Don't you guys like talk sometimes about like how like just rape women isn't like, don't you guys have like rape guides on there or something? So it's not that
So
far off.
I will. Okay, so as someone who owns a chan, I will say this: we are a bastion of free speech. Like there are people that are gonna say fucked up shit
One
just
D.
because it's
America.
People are going to say all kinds of shit. That doesn't mean that I believe it or that Sarge believes it or any of the other
If you
mods
tried
believe
to
it.
rape a woman,
Just
would
shit
you
that happens.
actually even be able to get hard?
Yo, Commissar,
So,
which one do you
or would
run
you get
your chat
nervous?
called?
There's all kinds of things that are
I run a
posted. Yeah,
chat.
so there's some radical shit on there.
What's it called?
You know, Gahul, that reminds me of what the Master said on
Hello?
Twitter. He said, "How can you be
Hey,
an
what did that guy
incel when
say?
you're stronger than women?"
What's
It's
the
simple,
chat
really.
called?
What's the chat called? Like the website?
Chat.
It's
Yeah,
in,
is my mic fucked?
it's not a
Yeah, the
chat.
one
It's
you
a forum. It's incels.is.
Yeah,
I don't run it.
Oh,
So I'm just like a representative. The guy who runs it is Sergeant Incel. And then we have a couple of other mods, Nodge, Kami. Oh, and shout out to Weaponize Autism, because he just wanted a shout out. So
Right.
shout out to him.
Josh also isn't the real incel.
There is controversy with Sergeant Incel. Because he's probably
There's
not.
controversy with Sergeant Incel.
There is controversy.
What
Also
the
not
fuck are we
one
talking
who
about?
fucking
This
gay.
is so gay.
The
Right.
controversy with Sergeant Incel.
Incels.
There's a lot of controversy around Sergeant.
Well, we've been already having a controversial
do?
chat. We already talked about Emma Watson, and I felt that was a hot button issue. So we're moving on to, we're touching all the hot
Well, if you want to
buttons.
talk about Emma Watson, I'll tell you about Zach. So Zachary Keith Hasbrook is a man who lives in Stratford, Connecticut. He's a HAPA. He's a monster who posts black, gay, interracial pornography on my website. If I saw him in real life, I would beat him up because he is threatened to beat me up. So I hate
Oh no,
his
he
guts.
knows Aikido, dude.
He does know Aikido, so he would be stronger than me, but I would still risk my life to defend my life against this man. Zachary Keith Hasbrook, anytime you see a person defending Emma Watson on the internet, it is 9 times out of 10 Zachary Keith Hasbrook. That is unironically true. If you go to any website and you see anyone defending Emma Watson in any capacity, in any measure, it is going to be Zach. 9 times out of 10. It is him. He is
That should be a rule on the internet.
If someone's defending Emma Watson, it is Zach. And I'm not saying that like in a schizo-way. Like,
That's
I've
impressive.
tracked his accounts. He has multiple accounts on every site where he uses similar names, Zorak or Z-Man or something like that. And he posts about Emma Watson constantly. He is never ending and never ceasing. This is a dangerous man who's not to be fucked with. And, you know, this man, if he infects your site, you know, it's gonna be trouble for you, okay? So I would suggest keeping him off of your website as much as possible. Keeping him away from you in a personal manner. He's not someone to be fucked with. But he's also...
So what's his obsession with you though? Like, why is he constantly following? I saw you make a couple of videos about this Zach guy. Does he like actually stalk you or?
Oh well, he posted on 8chan TV, and we would make fun of him constantly. And then he moved to TV Chan, and then he moved to TV Chan because he likes to go to anywhere that openly discusses Emma Watson and defend her because he needs to defend Emma Watson at all costs. It is his goal and mission in life. Right?
Oh, a devoted autist.
And because I run TV, he needs to come to my site and he needs to harass me. And I've called him out and said, listen, if you want to do this, you can fight me IRL and I will fight you IRL. We will settle this like men. But he has refused to because he's a coward and instead just calls me out at all times and threatens me and harasses me. He's a monster.
You know what? You should invite him on your show.
I've invited
Do
him on my
one
show
of these.
multiple times.
Run up to his house.
I've invited him multiple times to hash this out. I invited him to beat me up in real life if he wants to. I will do anything to get him in a call with me, but he never will because he's a coward. He's not like you. At least you're brave enough to admit you're an incel live on the air. He's a coward.
Brutal.
You turn up to his
Brutal
house,
blackmail.
you have his IP.
I would go to
Say hello.
Zach's house. Yes, it is not. I would definitely go to Zach's house if I could, but it's in Connecticut, so it's a long drive. So I just don't think I could physically.
I'd watch that. I don't know. Make a video of that. I'd watch it.
I did.
They'll get loads of
Well, I got to go to Spoonie's and Doug's house first before I go to Zach's house, and then I'll go there. That'll be the finale. They'll get me arrested for. If I go to his house, I'm gonna get arrested probably. So I
And Daddy Jim too. Don't forget the Daddy Jim thing.
have to find what hospital he's staying
Medicare?
at. Medicard's in my state. I just have to find him.
He's like lives right next to you,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
He lives pretty close. Yeah.
Didn't his docs get
Yeah.
leaked? Like, we know where he lives, right?
I don't know how
Yeah,
accurate
yeah.
the docs is. I actually don't know how accurate the docs is, but
Hasn't he been like offline for a while? Like I know that he got
No,
banned
he's
on
on
Twitter.
Twitter.
streamed in a year.
No, he cries on
Quarantine-
Twitter every day
quarantine
now.
tweets on
Daddy's
Twitter.
dead.
It's terror. It's so many tweets. It's fucking ridiculous.
Google, I don't even want to. I want to
He
see
used
something
to make fun
more
of
grand.
Twitter and people who would post like 10,000 tweets over
I wanna
their
see-
lifetime, and he's basically
I wa-
just that guy now.
Yeah. I want to see Lighthouse happen with Gahul and Zach.
I would do it. Trap him on an island with me. Force him
Yeah.
to like spend like a week with me on an island to see what happens. It'd be funny.
I don't know. There's some
Watch
like
that.
homosexual undertones in that movie. Maybe
That
Listen,
sounds like
kinda gay
projection.
stuff
Undertone.
happening.
There are homosexual overtones, but the thing is that it's a terrific film at the end of the day. Despite that,
It is.
yeah.
no, it's a great movie, but I don't know. I would want to recreate that movie with another man.
You
on an
would.
island.
You would.
You would.
Yeah, you would.
You would.
Listen,
You wouldn't be an incel anymore.
I know that I'm not gay. I know that there'd be nothing gay about me and Zach being trapped on an island together. It would be only violence. It would only be anger. Nothing
Gay
sexual.
Man, I'm getting gay pilled and pink pilled.
Gahul
I'm learning
had
a lot
that
from you
epic
guys.
rant.
Thank you. At this.
Listen, I'm proudly not gay. I can be confident of my sexuality and know that I could be trapped on an island with someone and not have sex with them, including a woman if I had to. I would not have sex with any woman. You know, it has to be the right.
No,
woman.
I feel you on that. I'm just saying, just specifically that it's like I would want a lighthouse scenario because like a lighthouse scenario is gay, like by definition
No.
is definitely gay.
I would disagree.
Lighthouses are pretty phallic.
Confirmed,
be honest.
Mo.
It's just two bros just hanging out, you know, getting on top of each other, you know, just
Can you
kissing
not
the
hang out
homies,
with another
tucking them in at
guy
night.
without thinking gay thoughts? Having to hold back gay thoughts? Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, I think you're projecting your.
You
I
can't
think
have
you're
a friend
projecting
over
your
your
gay
house?
fantasies onto the lighthouse. I don't think the lighthouse is inherently gay.
No.
I don't know. They were making out. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they're making out, and you're saying
making
specifically
out.
we want a lighthouse, they kind of did. They kissed at some point.
No, they didn't. I watched the movie like 3 times. They don't make out or kiss in that movie.
They don't make out, but they have some kind of like gay kiss, or there's some gay moment
I mean,
where someone.
Willem
mouths
Dafoe
something at
literally
someone.
comes on Robert Pattinson, but he didn't know he was there when he did it. He was just jacking off in the lighthouse, and Robert Pattinson actually
Okay.
walked in on him.
That's fair. That's an accident. You know, homies understand that, I guess.
I mean, homies don't
Just like,
understand
my bad.
that, but like he.
No. I don't know who your homies are, man, but that's kind of. I wouldn't be very understanding if that happened, to be honest.
Kiss the homies. Tuck in the homies.
I don't know. Okay. Well, you guys have any closing thoughts? You guys have any closing statements? I hope the end call here didn't piss you off too much, caller. Hopefully the army of incels isn't after their king. But it wouldn't matter because as the king, I can dictate however I want to my peasants.
It was good
I think
having.
it's
It was,
time
it was good having a
to,
good talk.
you know, have a revolution.
So, no, it was a good talk. It was a good talk. I think we're going to disagree about what like the importance of looks, but this is basically the gist of my entire talk was that just because things are bad societally, or just because you feel that you're alienated, doesn't mean that that's the end of life. Like the white pill is, you can always self-improve, you can always do things to be better, and you don't have to resign yourself to just being devoured by all of these negative.
What are you
things
even
happening.
fucking talking
Excuse
about?
me, excuse me. I just wanted to hop in real quick and
Who
say
the fuck
that
is this?
I think that
Oh no,
Commissar's
shut up,
problem
woman.
is-
Ew, ew,
is-
ew,
I
ew,
don't-
ew, ew,
Is this a woman? Do you guys have women on here?
Okay, so sorry. Go ahead. We'll let you finish your point. Go ahead.
I don't think
Like woman?
Commissar's problem is like his looks and height, but like his personality and self-esteem are so low that like no girl would ever find that attractive.
It's a good point.
Is that a girl?
I mean,
can't
self-esteem has to come from somewhere. It cannot just appear out of nowhere.
You feel a lot. You
Can-
feel a lot
woman-
like prouder
And-
about
and
himself.
she's gone.
He was wearing a dress.
To be fair, I actually agree with. I actually disagree. I do think you can improve your self-esteem simply by deciding to be self-esteemed. You can decide. It's a mental decision. You also have to eat healthy and not fuck
And
Yeah,
up.
wear
but no,
dress.
Nico is right. Self-esteem doesn't just come from anywhere. If you're just some like fucking piece of shit and you've always been treated like a piece of shit, you're gonna feel like that. It's gonna take actual real work for you to be able to come back from that. So this idea of just like, it's like telling a depressed person, it's like, bro, have you thought of being happy? And it's like, holy shit, dude,
Hey,
you've cracked
you know
the
what?
egg. It's just
Listen,
like it
here's the
doesn't
deal.
work.
Here's some dark pill. Here's some black pill shit for you. I've been to therapy for my depression, and I've talked to people. And outside of, if you're not taking medication, that's literally all you can do is decide to not be depressed. And I'm not joking. That's basically what therapy is giving you coping mechanisms and strategies to not be depressed mentally. Making
No,
that
but
choice.
that's the thing that I agree with. Is the second thing that you said.
That's what you
is
have to
having these
decide.
strategies.
You have to decide to not be depressed. That is the actual process. It just therapy. All it is a long roundabout way of telling you just stop being depressed. That's the only thing you can fucking do. It's some annoying shit, but that's all you literally can do with it. I'm not joking.
No,
Nah, yeah,
I
you're
agree
right.
that in general that's basically what it is that you're doing. You have all these negative life facts, all these negative things that are happening to you, and then the only thing that you can do is, hey, acknowledge them, and then just do what you can to improve.
Anyways,
There's no reason to be nihilistic.
Yeah, you
But
should.
yeah,
You
that's
should
basically my
have,
closing thought.
yeah, if you, I think in general, if you wanna project confidence to women, you just have to stop calling yourself a loser internally. That's why I was upset with this whole thing. This boosted off because some guy says I want to see how women rate me. And it's like, bitch, you should not be letting women decide what your rating is. You should decide what your rating is mentally. You should decide what you're worth, not some other person. Okay, and then
I mean, that's good to know though, because in the end,
No,
people
it's not.
are rating you. Like people are rating you, and
doesn't
they
matter.
that's what's in their mind regardless.
Yes, but if you project yourself and you confine yourself to what people think you are, you're never going to be successful above what you are right now. Okay? Like genuinely, if I imagined myself as what people told me I am online, I'd be fucking miserable. I would have killed myself by now. But I don't listen to them because I'm better than that, and you're better than that.
I do think that there's a reasonable level between
some real
understanding
motivational
fair
shit right
criticism,
here.
and then afterwards having like a negative self-perception. So, for example, someone says you smell because you haven't taken a shower. You can't just sit there and be like, you know, man, I'm just like my own thing. It's like, no, dude, you smell like a sack of shit. Take a fucking shower. Like, you smell awful. So there are things like that about
like
your looks or the way you dress or
common
you present yourself. Yeah, but the thing is that that's also true for things like you look bad, where it's like, hey, you're overweight. Like, you can lose weight, you can go to the gym, and then improve yourself in that way. So there is kind of a give and take with this criticism, where it's like, understanding what other people think about you doesn't mean that you have to acknowledge all of it, but you can't take some of that and say, hey, these are things that I can do to be better.
I don't know. I don't know if there's not much else for you, to be honest.
I think you're overthinking it.
Yeah,
if
imagine
you're this old and you're still overthinking it this much, it's like there's not really a lot of ways out for you.
How old are you?
It's tough.
Like this is like a phase you should have gotten past at like age 19.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is
that's
tough.
cool, but how old are you?
I'm 26 and I fuck all the time.
You're 26, so you have no idea what's going on at 30, having actual responsibilities. Do you have a job?
Yeah, I have a
26
I
is
get
pretty much an
bills.
adult,
What do you
man.
do?
Like,
Are
if
you
he was
done with
20,
college?
if he was
I
like
get most
21, I would agree with you. But if you're by the time you're 26, you have bills to pay and shit, man. I'm 24, and I've got like health insurance bills. I have to like fucking put money into stuff. Like genuinely,
Like, by the time...
like
The
you're still an
difference is that
adult.
when you get to 30, things start changing. First of all, your mind is completely and totally developed at that point.
I
you have
collect
responsibilities,
almost
you're thinking about
25.
legacy.
What are you trying
And
to
like,
say?
for
I'm
example,
old?
for me specifically, like, I run a business. So I also have to run my own business. I have employees that I have to think
Oh my
about.
God.
Well, if you
Like,
run
there
a
are major
business, like, what's your-
responsibilities in life.
why are you
What's
complaining
the
about being
deal?
like what's holding you back
What
now?
is the deal? Yeah.
You're successful.
I don't believe that he runs a business. I have a hard time.
He runs a gay
A what?
business.
It reminds me of Sneckahul. Sneck that, you
Wait,
know. how he
wait.
explained all that
Just
shit. I
because
don't
he has
believe it.
business doesn't mean he's successful.
That's true. Maybe his business is failing.
Maybe it's shit. Maybe it's a bad business. Now you get out.
Hey,
Um,
okay, I just
business.
want to take a moment to say if there's actually women in the chat, please, this is not.
No
this is-
trannies, though.
This is not.
No
your
trannies.
space. This is not your space. No trannies. No women. This is not your space, man.
I'm a trans woman.
No, why did you let
Out.
the
Out
woman
of the
talk
chat.
earlier?
Well,
Was that a woman? I was pretty sure that was a woman.
I was pretty sure it was
That
a girl.
was- that was
That
the real
shocked me. I was so shocked that there was
I
one.
have
I didn't. I
woman
couldn't unmute.
listeners.
There are no women on the internet.
Should
You're all
have
wrong.
BTFO'd her.
I should have. But listen,
Oh.
I wanted. She had a
Okay.
question. She was starting off with a question. I wanted to let her finish it. And then she hung up before we.
Okay, how about this woman who's on the chat? Come back and say the thing you were gonna say,
They
Me?
left.
No,
because we
don't
didn't hear
come
you at
back.
all.
I think they left.
The
They
woman-
gone?
Your kind isn't welcome here.
All right,
So the
we
woman in
bullied
the
women
chat,
off the internet.
woman in the chat just
Successful.
said that you have bad self-esteem, and that's why women aren't attracted to you. And that's what a woman told
Exactly.
you. To be fair, we have a first-hand account that that's what makes you unattractive is your bad self-esteem. So maybe you should work
Yeah,
on
but
that.
if I had bad self-esteem, I wouldn't be on here.
Oh.
Like, I wouldn't be talking to you.
Yes,
I
you
wouldn't
would.
be continuing
You
in
like
this
have to
chat.
have that
He's back.
self-esteem to be on this side of the internet, man. No offense. Like this is a terrible decision that you've made.
Oh my god, I'm rethinking everything. But I think someone that has poor self-esteem and doesn't have confidence is not able to go into a chat and just talk with people that obviously are hostile to what it is that I'm presenting. And by the way, you guys didn't listen to our very
No one's
long and
hostile.
detailed and
In fact,
nuanced
I think-
discussion.
I think I agree with a lot of what you're saying. There is no hope for you, man. Just be a girl.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Just HRT pill. Okay.
I'm not even.
No, I-
Hey,
they're
no,
back.
Wait, is the woman
No,
back on the
back.
chat?
What
She's
is this?
back.
Okay.
All right, what was the thing you were going to say?
I said it already.
What?
First of all, can you confirm, are you actually a woman?
I told you that it's because you like hate yourself.
I don't hate
Yeah,
myself.
prove you're a woman. Flash your tits.
I agree with that as well.
I mean, I can be a guy. It doesn't matter.
Listen, I just think the bomb solution is the best because you don't have to alter yourself. You don't have to fuck a man. You can still fuck a woman. You know, it's just that survival instinct is gonna kick in, and you know you're gonna
What are
you're
you
gonna get
talking
with
about?
a woman that way. So I really think my solution is the best.
Now, genuinely, we need to ask a serious question. Is this a real or a fake woman? We need to know this right now, because either way, you're trading on thin
Tranny.
ground here. You're coming into the
There are
king
no
of the
women on
incels
the
den.
internet.
Tranny.
This is a woman-free
No.
zone. What are you doing here? What is
I'm a
this?
guy.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
I'm
You're
not
fine.
a girl or a woman, or a tranny.
Then why are you doing that voice?
Yes, you are.
I'm not doing any voice.
Yeah, he's probably like 12. Oh my god.
It almost sounds like 9.
Are you 12? Is this a child?
No, I'm 13 and I already have fucked 2 girls, dude.
My God.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh,
If these are
like,
followers,
that's a
Galil,
male.
this fucking band of degenerates and
terrible.
13-year-olds and
You're gonna get me
trannies.
fucking
Terrible.
nuked again.
This
I'm gonna
is
fucking
the real
murder
black
you.
pill. But you know what? I'm taking the black pill.
I'm
If
black
this-
pilled right now.
If these are the women, if this is the people, if this is what people post on here, if this is the kind of people who follow me, it's over. Like, it's done. I fucked it all up.
You
It's
take
terrible.
it in, dude.
It's over!
Incels.is.
Wait, let's
Come
find
over,
out.
bro.
Fucking.
Are you actually
How'd
13?
you find out about Google?
Why are you watching this?
How go? Oh,
How
I
did you-
found him on TV, and I thought his
Browse
videos were
TV?
funny, so I subbed. Like the
Do you know
4chan
the
board.
rules on TV?
Well, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, but what are they gonna do? They can't unless you
Your
say you're
parents
not
know that you're
18.
online right now talking to a bunch
No,
of
my
grown
dad's
men
at work.
and
And
trannies
I
on
don't know where my
Discord.
mom is, but
Oh yeah, you know what, Commissar? Yo, Commissar,
So,
have you
the thing that I would tell you is walk
Right.
Dude,
it's once this
Commissar,
goes
like
down.
I go
They're
to
gonna make
school,
you fall
like
between-
you
Commissar,
just
have
have
you
to
considered
like.
children? Have you just considered going for children instead of like real men?
Whoa!
Ooh, just be a pedophile theory.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we're talking in like now I'm like gonna have to like kick you from the server, dude. No,
Holy
fuck
Jesus
off.
Christ.
I'm not taking with this shit,
We,
man.
we
dude.
like to deal in hypotheticals.
I don't know. You
I'm
just
not-
sound like a dumbass.
The fact that there's even like this fucking whatever the fuck is in the chat is bad enough, but listen, man, I'm not fucking around with this shit. No pedophiles. Like that's not gonna happen. No, fuck off. Not even as a joke.
I mean, he's not a pedophile yet. I'm just saying it's
Shut the
something
fuck
he
up.
can
Just
Just tell me
stop.
shut the
Not
fuck up.
even as a
We're
joke.
moving on.
Not even as a
joke
joke.
failed. Just-
Done.
Not even as a joke. And I'm
Oh,
fuck
no,
off.
bro, that lollipop ain't looking pretty tight to me.
Not even as a joke. Fuck off. This is
Okay,
gotta stop.
so the kid, so why? How long have you been following Gahul?
I don't know, like a year or something. I don't know.
Here?
I think you should just ban her right now because somebody said something pedophilic and she's still here. It's not a good look so
Oh,
far.
I think that's a boy. So
I am a
anyways,
guy.
you should
What's-
run from. this
I'm like a man,
Just
you
bro.
should run. You should run.
ban.
You know what? This doesn't
No, she's
sound.
wrong-
fucking
you're in the wrong
trolling.
place,
Nah.
I'm
That's
not
the way she is.
trolling, dude.
You sound fake. You don't sound like a boy.
What do you
You
mean I
sound
sound
like you're either a
fake?
tranny or a man. You don't.
You're fucking
I can
tranny.
Or Chinese made HRT.
So okay, you're
Why are you guys so obsessed with trannies?
Let me just
That's
That is
something
just
I never
devil's
really
advocate
figured
here.
out before, like on 4chan stuff. Everybody's
Because
like
you're
gay or
gay.
something.
Because you're gay. That's it.
Wait, someone in chat saying you're emoji Trune. Are you emoji Trune on my site?
I don't know what that is.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'm not buying that.
I don't know. Are you emoji Trune? Genuinely, because I've had some fucking shit.
I
deal with
don't know. I don't know who Emoji Shun is.
Do you know what's the name of my website that I run? What's the name of my website?
I don't remember. I was on it earlier because I saw it linked on YouTube. But
listen.
Who are these people who like come into my
it's
show?
Not fair. It's not fair to dogpile this person for being trans when I've established
not
that I'm trans
trans.
the whole time.
Why are you guys bullying like a child?
I don't know.
It says he's
I don't
Yeah,
believe
fuck
this. I
off,
don't
guy.
believe it's a child.
Yeah.
I do not believe this is a
I
child.
posted on there sometime. I used
That's
to
fine.
post
I
an
mean, they're
8chan.
13.
Okay, this is.
What do
not-
you mean 8chan? 8chan's fucking down.
Yeah, 8chan's dead.
I said I used to. No, it's 8kun now, right?
No, that's fucking FBI honeypot. Doesn't
LARP
count.
is this? What kind of weird LARP is this?
Anyways.
It's not a LARP.
So we've gotten to a point where we're just like conning on a 13-year-old. I think that's where I like kind of tap out.
Yeah. I
But
think
anyways,
these
Gahul.
needs to end.
I don't know.
I think this is where I
Viewers
tap
do what
out.
they want. They
So,
want attention. We're
Gahul,
giving it.
thank you for having me on the show.
Hey,
it was really
Commissar,
cool talking to you,
keep
man.
an eye out on TV Chain because there might be something in mind for you board game players coming up soon. You might be interested. You might want to check it out. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh,
so
dude, if you ever do the
And
Yu-Gi-Oh, if you ever
consider
do the
every
Yu-Gi-Oh stuff,
piece
hit
of
me up.
advice that was given to you today.
I'm just
All
saying.
of the options are on the table.
If you like board game stuff, there's something coming to TV Chan very soon, so just be ready for that. Look out for July 19th. So just be on the lookout. This child and/or woman and/or transsexual in the chat, I'm gonna ask you to please never call me or talk to me ever again. I don't want women or children or
Why? I
transsexuals
watched
on
all
my
your
side.
videos.
You're free.
If you're underage, you shouldn't be on Discord. You shouldn't be on Discord to begin with.
Why? It
Especially
says
now
like
with these guys.
there's all my friends use Discord. We play Call of Duty on
Talk
after
to them.
school.
Don't join
Okay,
server.
well, All right,
Leave.
that's a good place to end the show.
Quit the internet.
Like I said,
Quit the
man,
internet.
thank you, and we'll talk soon with Yu-Gi-Oh
Do you,
stuff. Let me know if you're doing that.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later, man, bro. Bye.
All right, take care, bro. Bye.
Okay, any other closing comments from the call before we end this?
Yeah, to the child in the chat, if you ever want like an older guy to play Call of Duty,
I'm muting you. That I'm just gonna no.
What rank are you?
Said the just be a pedophile.
Yeah, you know what's funny? The moon is actually a weapon made by the FBI.
Okay.
No, that's not. Wait, let me explain, okay? So basically, you know when the moon goes up and down around the Earth, you know? The fucking water goes up and down, right? Ebb and flood, right? It's an anti-gravity weapon. It pulls the water with it because it's an anti-gravity weapon, man.
Okay. That's nice. Let's...
Yo, Gahul, I have a final question.
Okay.
You do this every day? Or was this,
The stream, or...
Yeah, stream.
No, just every once in a while, maybe once a week or every now and then, just when I feel like it.
You should probably do the stream more. It's actually fun. Not
Yeah,
gonna
every
lie.
day. I'll try. I'm gonna do some Yu-Gi-Oh streams and stuff, so I'll be around. So if I have something to talk about, usually I do. If I'm usually bored, if I'm bored, I usually.
That's why you ink well.
Okay, Treasure Master. Thanks for coming here. All the other people. I don't even know who the fuck you people are. I've never even talked to you before today. I don't know where you found me. I'm not sure where this got posted.
You know us.
Do you?
It didn't get posted anywhere, dude.
You know us.
I don't know.
You know us.
I don't know
yeah,
you.
I've been on the call before. I've been on your stream before.
Oh wait, you have. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. Thanks for coming
We're
up, guys.
long-time friends.
You fuckers.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Bye.